You're watching PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network, a public service of Pennsylvania Cable Television Companies. PCN is supported in part by AT&T Broadband, serving cable subscribers in downtown Pittsburgh and surrounding communities. Coming up next on the Pennsylvania Cable Network, PCN's exclusive coverage of PIAA Championship football, the Quad A Finals. PCN's presentation of regular season high school sports contests is underwritten by Pennsylvania Cable Television Companies, delivering local, state, and national sports programming. And by Homework Help on PCN, televised homework assistance for primary and secondary school students.
Live from the Hershey Park Stadium, the Pennsylvania Cable Network proud to present the 2001 PIAA State High School Football Championship. The action in Quad A coming out of the West, District 7 Woodland Hills, looking to make it a clean sweep for the WPIL, going up against the Eastern champ, the Indians, or the Redskins rather, from Neshaminy. Jed Donahue, joined by Mike Pettin Sr. and also Gordon Blaine. Delighted to have you here this evening. It is raining like crazy. It's been raining for the last 6 hours straight here in Hershey, but we've got a football game to be played, and Mike talked to us about Neshaminy coming out of District 1.
Well, they got a great program. They've had a bunch of close games, but they've improved tremendously. I think their defense has come on strong at the end of the year, and that's how you win championships. And I'm thinking that's going to give them the edge tonight, the way they've been playing defense lately.
Woodland Hills, Gordon, nationally ranked, a lot of D1 guys, great performer, and Steve Breston, they've been waiting to get here.
6 Division I recruits, maybe more. George Novak is always loaded with talent. They've come to play. I like the WPL's chances to sweep this.
The fourth member of our broadcast team is Mike Conti, who's out in the elements and is right at midfield. Let's go to him live right now. Mike, what do you got weather-wise?
Well, we got a lot of rain, I'll tell you that. And herein lies the problem at Hershey Park Stadium. I'm going to ask Pito to pan down. I'm standing at midfield. Take a look at this. Standing water, mud. The footing here, not very good. In the AA final earlier today, we saw 3 blocked extra points. The reason why the kickers were having problems with footing today, and the rain is not supposed to let up. The field has taken a lot of water today, and the rain is expected to continue. How that affects the Woodland Hills option and Steve Preston is a big question mark. We'll find out later. Back upstairs.
All right, we're going to soon meet the captains for this particular game here with Woodland Hills and Neshaminy. And our chief official is Richard Schuyler. Let's listen.
We got some soup today. Have fun in the soup. Listen, you guys are here because you belong here. You've earned the right to be here. Have fun, okay? All right, you wanted to toss or deferred. You're going to kick with your back to the board. You guys turn out this way, please. And when you toss, they have deferred. Red will receive. Go ahead, guys.
Richard Schuyler says we're going to play in the soup today. Let's give you exactly what we're talking about. Rain, chilly. You guys are understating that downstairs. Chilly, you bet. 36 degrees, the wind. I would say left to right on your screen about 5 to 15 miles per hour. And the soup is a great description of how this weather is. It really started at 11 o'clock this morning, and it has not stopped.
Reminds me of one of my favorite oyster bars, raw oysters. It's raw out there right now.
Let's check in now on our national anthem as we honor America on this. Yesterday was the 60th anniversary of the bombing at Pearl Harbor, and it's been a very special weekend indeed. Let's listen in on that. We've been talking to you, Mike, about the weather elements and things. What's going to happen now?
Well, it's been getting worse since the day has gone on here. I think you're going to see the game played outside the hash marks. In the middle of the field, it's just footing so tough. Again, we talked earlier about the importance of the ball boys keeping those balls dry. Hopefully you have an umpire who's going to cover the ball with a towel. You really have to tell your backs to be extra careful, 2 hands on the ball when they're going into a crowd. Turnovers are going to be key to the game. Certainly if I was coaching, that's a good move. You win the toss and you defer. Go on defense. Hopefully the offense will make a mistake and you can get good field position.
Gordon, how do you see this thing? Woodland Hills has got just so many thoroughbreds. I mean, they want to get loose, and it's going to be interesting to see whether they can get free here.
The first assumption is, well, they run the option, they're going to have problems. They got a quarterback election run, is going to have problems. Well, the field at the Wolverina that the Woodland Hills Wolverines play on in Turtle Creek is pretty much raw. It's pretty much dirt inside the hash marks. I was there for a game where it was raining, cold rain and sleet. It was the Penn Hills game in the 9th week. Stevie Breston returned a punt for a touchdown, made 2 long runs, zigzagging across the field for touchdowns. I didn't see him affected whatsoever by slick footing. I don't think it's going to bother him whatsoever.
He had 289 all-purpose yards in that game and was just sensational. And we're really looking forward to seeing him. He's going to be number 15 for Woodland Hills. And number 2, Jamar Brittingham, real quick, we're going to see him on kickoff coverage here, has had a bad knee.
Yes, but it didn't look too bad against Cumberland Valley last week. He was a stud.
I think he's fine now. Watch out also for Keith Ennis, number 1.
But a big kickoff return, and they're going to try and get away from them. But it's going to be Ennis picking it up at the 20. He steps through, look out. Here comes Ennis to the 36. He's exciting. He had a 65-yard kickoff return last week to really turn the Eastern Final around. That goes for 16 and sets up Neshaminy in good shape. There he is right now. There's their offense. The big guy up front would be who?
Fesco, he's a stud, and he's one of their best linemen. He's hurt earlier on, but all those guys were very good, Jed.
Jeff Donahue had a big touchdown last week. Brittingham, we'll see him a lot. Jason Wader can run and throw. He's very good. As Neshaminy goes on offense for the first time, and we're underway here in the opening minute. This will be Brittingham. Slashes, dices for only a couple.
Neshaminy is notorious for slow starts. They get behind. They've come from behind in half of their wins this year. Some of them coming from behind and late in games. Started right out in the first week with Father Judge. They had to pull it out, and they came on.
And there's the Woodland Hills defense. Nesby, Mundy, Lang, Brown. Another excellent secondary coming out of Western Pennsylvania. We've seen 3 fabulous secondaries from Washington, Rochester, and West Allegheny in the previous 3. Here's Brittingham again, gets a seam. Look out! He's in the clear! It's a foot race into the 30-yard line. And a touchdown saving tackle is made by Woodland Hills out there, and it is made by Mike Nesby after a 33-yard run.
Jed, he's a solid ACC Big East recruit, a bunch of offers. He couldn't elevate to Big Ten type status with a big game today.
Huge play by Nesby to save a touchdown. Those don't show up in the box score, but that's big-time hustle there by Nesby out of that secondary. 1st and 10 for Neshaminy at the 31.
They have a big, big offensive line, and those big fullbacks they bring in, Collins and Donahue, coach, they're really tough.
Brittingham for a third straight time, and he's got a pretty good yard. Big gainer all the way to the 23-yard line, a gain of 8.
Brittingham is as good a running back as I've seen come out of District 1 in 30-some years. I mean, the least he's been held to is about 150 yards rushing. With his style of running, I don't think the field will affect him that much. He has a low center of gravity, runs with a wide base, keeps his balance, and has a mental toughness. When you go to tackle him, he attacks you.
There's some movement up front. Neshaminy jumped out. Well, we saw Wader's numbers on the year, and Brittingham, eye-popping, 2,400 plus yards on the season. Wow.
To get that kind of yardage in the power 10 is just almost unheard of. I mean, it's people too big and strong for 10 weeks to stop that kind of stuff. You know, Jed, Brittingham plays basketball. And last year, Coach Smith said to Jamar, take a week off, then come start working out. Take a week off from basketball and then come start working out for this football season. Jamar was there on Monday after school, ready to go, and he hasn't missed a day of weightlifting since.
See, that's the number, 7.1 yards per carry, that just jumps off the page at May. Coach, for you to say one of the better running backs out of District 1 is...
Here's the CB West look.
This is a jumbo formation. Got two fullbacks.
On 1st and 15, they'll go to Brittingham. He cuts it up in traffic. Has about 4 or 5. Billy Ray catches up with him.
They don't see this kind of power football in the Quad East. They do see a lot of great option from McKeesport. They see a good balanced offense from Baldwin, and they also see pretty good quarterback and a pretty good running game from Penn Hills. But they're not going to see this kind of power football. Of course, where do you see that other than in Bucks County? That's pretty much the Taylor kind of football that this man beside us here kind of made famous.
3rd and 2 for Neshaminy after the big 37-yard romp by Brittingham. Brittingham will get it on 3rd and 2 and flies forward. Good line surge. It's close at the 21.
Well, Neshaminy can do everything. They can play power football, misdirection football. Wader is an underrated quarterback. Don't be surprised if he has a big game.
Well,
they're going to bring in the chains here, gang.
It's nice to go to war with a senior that's been there 2 years, you know.
If they keep getting this kind of yardage on the ground, there will be very little need to go to the passing game.
Well, they can't turn it over, though, because these guys are very opportunistic and turn things around quickly, Woodland Hills.
All right, let's hear from the head coach at Neshaminy right now, and that would be Mark Schmidt on Jamar Brittingham.
Well, he just understands the game so well. He's a dangerous kid, young man. He doesn't make too many mistakes. He's tough inside. He does a nice job outside. He's has that make you miss move, and also lower the shoulder and get a couple tough yards. So I guess, you know, he does all you ask for.
We've seen him in tight, and we've seen him on the move with that big gainer. Coach, the Neshaminy tradition has kind of come alive a little bit this year. They have been one of the storied programs down in District 1.
Absolutely. The old timers are coming out of the woodwork. They're so excited. They're saying this is just like the old days in the early 60s. John Peter Kuski, legendary Hall of Fame coach. They had 50-some straight wins.
As we see 4th and 1.
Okay, 4th and 1.
Old timers, young timers, tense on that side. Right now, this is key down early in this game. Brittingham on 4th down, has 1st down as he flies forward to the 20-yard line.
Those two big fullbacks, Coach, they're big and strong. They both go, what, 225, 230?
Donahue and Collins.
And they've gotten a lot of mileage out of them, and sometimes they come out of the backfield and catch a pass.
Absolutely. Excellent receivers.
Talk to me about George Novak, and he doesn't really do two platoon a whole lot.
No, but the funny thing was, he said after the Downingtown loss in '96, he was not going to be so much against playing guys both ways, but he has so many great players. He's going to go two platoon, and that catches up to people in the 4th quarter.
Here's Brittingham trying to get to the outside. They string it, and he's going to lose maybe a yard.
Way too much quickness to do that against this defense.
It's going to be tough reading these numbers after a while. Tackle that we see on there is Vernon Little, a senior.
It's pretty tough to run that outside stretch play on this type of field.
Also give credit there to Brad Lang, outside linebacker, so he lost a yard. It'll be 2nd and 11. Timeout for Woodland Hills. This will give us an opportunity to visit with Mike Conti. Mike, what do you have for us?
Well, Coach Penton touched on the revival of this Neshaminy tradition. Indeed, Neshaminy has kind of struggled over the past 10 years, but Coach Sullivan has turned around the program. They're 14-0 this year. This is actually only the second year that they've been to the state playoffs, and indeed now they're in the state finals. One other thing on the line tonight for Neshaminy. This could be a West sweep, guys. Already the West team has won the first 3 games here in Hershey. There's only been one sweep in the history of the state playoffs. It came all the way back in 1992, a sweep by the East. Neshaminy trying to prevent a West sweep tonight.
But out of one district.
Yeah, but this is WPIAL's chance to sweep. And this is something they thought they'd do when this all started back in the late 80s. And it's taken them 14 years to get on the verge of this right now.
Yeah, ironically, in the first inaugural PIAA playoff, Neshaminy made it all the way to the Eastern Final, lost to a great Cedar Cliff team featuring Kyle Brady, went on to Penn State playing with Jacksonville, lost 24-0. And Cedar Cliff lost the following week to the WPI runner-up, that being Pittsburgh Central Catholic, which had lost the week before to Upper St. Clair. And since then, Neshaminy's been off the radar screen, but as you alluded to, Mike, they're very much energized with this great club they brought here this season.
All right, they're in that jumbo formation again, 2 fullbacks.
Second down and 11, and it looks like Woodland Hills may have jumped that time.
Looked like it was a count, Coach. Looked like Jason Waiters.
Looks like a hard count. He's pretty good at that. Don't be surprised if they pop that fullback in there, Jay Collins.
There's Jason Waiter.
You get King on Brittingham, and that fullback could really hurt you.
Repeat, second down on the snap.
Mark Malloy had jumped for Woodland Hills, so that creates second down and 6 for Neshaminy at the Woodland Hills 16. Waiter handoff, and he's met right away and dropped. Will Clark is there for Woodland Hills.
They try to go away from their formation strength and run a little counter action. Somebody missed a block inside.
Bang, bang. Then climbing all over it too is Mark Malloy.
Isn't he a big one?
Whoa, lost 4 yards, so Malloy helps at least get 4 of the 5 yards lost off the false start. So they're looking at 3rd and 9, a tough call here at the 19-yard line.
Add Malloy to that list of potential D1 recruits on this football team.
50 or more?
Oh, well,
already?
Came out of Woodland Hills.
Since he's been there in 87.
It's incredible.
That is amazing.
Now, Coach Novak's a great coach, runs a great program. Football, very important at Woodland Hills.
Waiter to pass for the first time. Throws Brittingham, cuts to the 15, and then the wash takes him back, and it's going to be 4th down, and let's call it 4. So we'll see if he keeps everybody out. Looks like he's going to go for it down here.
Coach, I think that timeout Woodland Hills called, maybe it wasn't so much strategy, it was just to get people to get off the ball, be more aggressive, and they sure did on those 3 snaps.
Well, we're going to get a field goal attempt upcoming here. At least that's what it looks like.
Wow.
Freshman, Kevin Kelly.
He's got a great leg, but this is going to be tough terrain right here to boot the ball off.
Anybody can do what he can.
Right in the mud. High snap. Kick is up, and no good. He pushed it just wide. Before we go to Mike Conti, I'd like to, the Woodland Hills defense, that's a big stand that they just had as Neshaminy drives it deep, uses a little more than 5 minutes off the clock. And here's what George Novak has to say about this year's defense.
Well, I think one of the things about our defense is they play well together as a team. They're a team-oriented defensive unit. Speed is definitely something we have defensively, and they all run to the ball. And they're assignment-oriented, and they're all tough kids, and they play good, hard-nosed football.
So there's George Novak. We're going to meet the Woodland Hills offense here in a bit. Here's Detrell, his first carry, and he's got about 2 or 3 yards. Let's put the Woodland Hills offense up right now. And we talked about Steve Breston, what a great player he is, all-purpose yardage and the like. And Brian Burgoyne, who's looking at him, Gordon?
Northwestern, Virginia, and Penn State are his final 3 right now. Great student as well.
He's pared it down from everybody from there is basically it. Austin Novak, Ryan Mundy, Michigan.
A junior, already offered by Michigan.
And Breston has his choice, pretty much anybody he wants.
And isn't saying right now.
And they're dynamic. It's going to be Detrell, and he is wrapped up and hit and dropped. Looks like Chuck Koch in there on the stop for Neshaminy.
Neshaminy has a lot of guys in the box.
Jake Collins also there for the Redskins, coming into this game at 14-0. Woodland Hills also 14-0.
Woodland Hills hasn't lost to only lost one game in the WPIAL
Good
in 3
secondary
years.
there for Neshaminy as we look at their lineup. Here's Preston. Ball is down. Who's got it? It's bad scramble. Could be anybody. It was an exchange, and it looks like he got back on it. Back near that 21-yard line. It'll be 4th down.
I'm really surprised. I'm sorry, Jed. I'm really surprised that they didn't try to let him run up the right side, get out there in that grassy part, because he loves to turn it upfield. He did an 87-yarder against Central Catholic in the WPIL final.
Well, when we visited with Mike Conti in the open here, he was standing right at midfield, and that's kind of where this punt is going. Low snap, and he gets it away. It's a side armor, and sensational field position now for Neshaminy up near the 29-yard line of Woodland Hills. Well, the field position game tilted toward the Redskins right now in a big way.
No question.
I think the Woodland Hills, everybody talks about Steve Bresser, but the Woodland Hills defense is very, very good. They answered the call here on that first drive, and they know now that their back's against the wall. They got to put another stop up.
Jason Wade, the quarterback, wearing number 8 there as we see him for the red and white of Neshaminy.
It was an 11-yard punt. But they were lucky it wasn't blocked. All right, we got a, looks like an unbalanced line. There's the fullback trap.
Quick hitter, I believe that's Collins.
Collins, 33.
All the way to about the 28-yard line, and he is hit and dropped for Woodland Hills. And the tackle is made by Yezovic.
Jay Collins, though, it's just 31 carries, 126 yards coming in, but his presence is bigger than his stats. Literally and figuratively, Jed.
Big time. Here we go with 2nd down and 8. Fast-moving first quarter. It's only the 3rd possession of the game. Here comes Brittingham looking for a seam and picks his way to about the 25-yard line. He is going to be hit by Ryan Mundy.
He's back in that I formation, 8 or 9 yards. The advantage, he can see the whole field. And he has a full head of steam by the time he gets the line of scrimmage.
He's got some power, too, to be able to run in traffic in there.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're coaching running backs, you want video on him just to teach how to do it. Speed, power, everything. He's a good blocker. Excellent receiver.
You can see there Brittingham getting a face full of mud. Coach, do you bring an extra set of jerseys for a game like this? Or don't you have an extra set of jerseys?
Oh, yeah, at halftime, you may want to make a change. I think the pants more than the jerseys. Get a couple extra pounds. And
yeah, it's, I know we're going to go to Mike Conti here when we can next and just get an update from him. He's been standing in this stuff all day long. 3rd and 4 for Neshaminy. They tried a field goal on their last drive. Here comes Wader back. The pass is tight end wide open. He missed him. Throws count Donahue all the way to the 15 and a 1st down. Good
he had
fullback.
One tight end open. I guess he didn't see him. 10 yards behind everybody.
Yeah, you know, Coach, I don't think he felt that he could throw. I'm just guessing now, but I don't think he felt he could throw it that far because of the ball being so wet.
That's a good point.
And he's a very conservative quarterback. He takes his time. He plays within himself. That's the thing that impresses me most about Jay Wader.
Great move by Donahue to get around Mundy that time, and it's a 1st down for Neshaminy. They're back at the Woodland Hills 16-yard line in a scoreless game here in the opening quarter. Here comes Brittingham, got a big hole, seam open through the 10 to the 5-yard line. Make it the 6 where his knee went down. A gain of 10 and another 1st down.
Did that look like a fullback running that time or what?
Yeah, you know, if you're going to have these field conditions, ironically, right now look like they're to the liking of Neshaminy.
They're going to measure for this 1st down. Let's go down to Mike Conti right now and see how he's doing, Mike.
A little waterlogged. We're okay, though. Just as it was in the AA game, really the problem spot on the field right now is between the hash marks. Now down the length of the field from end zone to end zone. You saw Neshaminy attempt that field goal on their last drive. I was a little bit surprised they did that because the footing in the middle of the field is not very good. I think as the game goes on, you are not going to see as many kick attempts. The most important people on the field right now are the ball boys. Neshaminy is just covering up the football with a towel right now. You see the Neshaminy ball boys here. Penn Argel tried that earlier and had problems with a slippery football. On the other side of the field, Woodland Hills has balls in garbage bags right now, and they also have a granular substance called Ball Be Dry, trying to keep the football dry. But the ball boys are the biggest men on the field right now.
And you would have a conversation with them before a game like this, Coach?
Without doubt. I mean, as I said, they're the most important people on the sideline.
Second and a short one for Neshaminy at the Woodland Hills 6-yard line. The biggest threat of the game thus far. Quick hitter Collins, first down Neshaminy. Their goal to go at about the 3.
You know what? This is defense with your offense as well, because this is the best way to keep Stevie Preston under control is to not let him get the ball. Brittingham with 53 yards on 10 carries already, Jed.
Well, these two fullbacks, you got to love those guys. A mudder in a muddy type of situation today.
A lot of good work in there by the offensive line. Fesco in particular.
When you're checking out the racing form, you want to look at the mudders for this game.
Playing in an off track for the Quad A championship tonight. Handoff. This is Jeff Donahue. Burrowing, powering, touchdown, Neshaminy. 6-0 conversion coming. Impressive drive. An 11-yard punt set them up in marvelous shape. They marched 31 yards in 2 minutes and 22 seconds and used 6 plays. And they're off.
Right behind Fesco.
The big fella came off the ball strong there, didn't he? No footing problems there.
Kevin Kelly, 5'7" freshman for the conversion. And these are an adventure. Kelly will pick it up. He just hurls it into the end zone, and it is short, and that's a big miss. These are going to be an adventure all game long.
Might be a night for 2-point conversions.
Yeah. I'm sure if you came into the building, you've heard probably what had happened earlier in the afternoon, and probably word would have gotten around.
Isn't that something, though, how it's become so difficult, especially on the extra points?
Big time.
I can tell you who's going to get their hands on the football and run with it this series for Woodland Hills.
That's the long snapper. Here's where Neshaminy is. District 1 down there. Langhorne, Pennsylvania, in Bucks County.
A lot of people in that area also buy New Jersey newspaper.
They love their football in that area.
Heart and soul of Power 10 country, right, Coach?
Bucks County. Don't forget that team up north.
What's that? Penridge. I couldn't resist that. You set me up for that.
Yeah. The Bucks have been here a few times. Remember that.
Well, Woodland Hills get a big return. Darlin Cochran and Dutrell are the 2 deep men. And isn't it interesting that they're only up near about the 15-yard line? They're not expecting a long kick.
They're expecting the pooch kick.
Isn't it something, though, that Neshaminy comes out and have a good third of their formations were just a good old-fashioned. We still have what Coach Pettin brought to this stadium many a times, that flavor of that power football in high school football. Coach Curry used to run that similar kind of offense. Put those guys behind your linemen and just power your way through it.
But a big pass on 3rd down in that drive for 11 yards to keep it going was Waiter to Jeff Donahue. This is Dutrell starting it back the other way. Check that into the clear. This is going to be Cochran, and Cochran's got positive yardage all the way up near the 40-yard line. That's what they needed to get rolling here. A 25-yard return by number 25, Cochran, for Woodland Hills.
I'm surprised they kick deep. Normally they like to kick to that 2nd tier level to avoid the return.
Look who's on the kick return team. Steve Breston, number 15. Watch out. Here we go.
Well, Breston, as you look at him right there, has just been sensational on the season. Rushing has been the big story for him. Another exchange problem, and that's covered.
He's got to settle down a little bit. I'll tell you what, so when George Novak came in the stadium, Guy Montecava from Washington was doing his media interviews, and he came over to Guy and gave him a big hug and said, rub off some of that luck off on us. And everybody, all the media people, especially from Pittsburgh, were talking about the potential sweep by the WPIL teams. It is a big deal when it comes to high school football right now in Western Pennsylvania.
Well, they've been fabulous all weekend. I think that's another exchange problem. That might be a little more of a live ball than the other one. That got away from him, but they've managed to cover 3 fumbles now.
Let's see if we can see why he's having so much. Well, you know why, but what actually is happening with those snaps?
that kind of gives it away, doesn't it?
Looks like he's pulling his hands out of there a little bit too soon. You got to, conditions like this, you got to hang in there with your hands and ride the center.
You got a ricochet rabbit in there, and they're going to call timeout to settle it down. They're right in the middle of that mud pile right there, and let's go to Mike Conti right now. Mike?
Jed, here on the Neshaminy sideline, the offensive line just had a mini conference. They are having problems with vision. What's happening is when they go face down on the turf, they're taking a face full of mud right now. They don't have those shields on their helmet similar to what they have in the NFL, and their eyes are actually getting kind of muddy. One player took off his helmet and a whole pile of mud fell right out. They're having vision problems right now on both sides.
All right, great stuff. And, you know, that is a concern, obviously. I mean, in these kind of conditions, Coach.
Well, both teams are playing with the same conditions, but these are the little things you have to adjust to.
No way would I thought at this point, with the first quarter, 11 minutes pretty much gone, that the yardage for Woodland Hills is a total of 0 yards. Neshaminy was 75.
Well, it takes more than 0 to get from Woodland Hills here to Hershey. Let's see where they're from, just give you perspective. And we mentioned the WPIL in this part of the country, in this part of the state. It's just been dominant this weekend, and there they are. Allegheny County in Pittsburgh. They have just been fabulous all year long, 14-0, making their first trip since 1996 to the gold medal game. There's Preston again.
Here he goes.
Now he gets loose. Look out. It's got 10
he's gone.
into the secondary and down the boundary. Brittingham is going to try and push him out of bounds, and they finally catch up at around the 10. Oh, my, what a player.
See what he does?
50 yards to the 10.
There's no defense in it. He just takes off. He's so fast. He has such a long stride.
Oof. See something.
There's a little quarterback trap play. Kick out, lead blocker. You basically have a running back playing quarterback. I'm sure they have more running plays for him than they do the running back.
Look at his stride. Stevie Preston can go anywhere he wants to go. He's not saying who he's even interested in. Obviously, Pitt and Penn State are going to be high on that list because he's going to stay close to home. I'm pretty sure of that.
What an electrifying performer. Here's Dutrell. He's trying to get outside. He's still loose, and they finally gather him at about the 8-yard line.
Tough run.
The issue with
Dutrell, a lot like Brittingham.
Yes, and they have the answer to Brittingham with Dutrell. He's a big-time back. He gets a little bit of work done in that classroom. He's going to be okay. He's a Big East candidate for sure. He's clearly a Division I player. Back to Preston. He's a real tough fit for a major Division I program. Do you make him a wide receiver, a defensive back, a quarterback? He's probably the classic Cordell Stewart / type player.
Well, that was something. He just takes any kind of broken play. That's probably where he's even more dangerous. Another exchange issue, and that ball is out again.
Oh, my.
Let's see who has it. It's a mad scramble around the 2-yard line. That's the 4th fumble for Woodland Hills, and I think they've got it again.
I tell you, the pulling guard is coming close to knocking the ball out of the quarterback's hands.
They're down near the 1-yard line now, guys. Doug Connor covered that, and that's the end of the first quarter of play, and they'll change ends. That's a big save right there. 3rd and goal from the 1-yard line. Neshaminy holds the lead, but it could be just temporary as we change ends there at the end of the first quarter of play. Delighted to have you on Pennsylvania's championship network, the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Jed Donahue with you. And let's go back to Mike Conti. And now that we have a quarter on this field a little bit, what's going on down your way, Mike?
Well, I mean, obviously, as we knew, Jed, heading into it, weather was going to be a factor. Remember that AA game, Penn Argyle not really tucking away those footballs on the sidelines. They didn't use that granular substance. They just covered them with a towel. And Penn Archel had trouble holding on to the football. Neshaminy is doing the same thing tonight. Their ball boys only are covering the football with a towel. The umpire is ordering a new ball off the sideline every down, so they're doing their best to keep a dry football on the field. But the big problem right now, I think, is field conditions. Look between the hash marks right now. A lot of standing water out there. The field has taken a lot, almost an inch of rain in about 6 hours.
That's been steady. It started a little bit before 11 as we look at the end that Neshaminy is defending right now, and the Woodland Hills would like to get into to tie this game and then maybe take a lead. 6-0.
I think everyone on a statewide basis now got to see Stevie Preston and just what we've been talking about.
Well, they're nationally ranked. Anybody that does a national poll, Woodland Hills is in it. Handoff to Trell, and I'm not sure if he got in there. I don't think he did.
Well, so is Neshaminy, ranked also in the top 20.
I'll tell you that the Neshaminy defense has really improved the latter part of the season.
We got 4th and goal.
Oh my! The state championship game in Quad A always has national implications in terms of the top, some of the top teams in the United States. And one of the national publications is here in the booth with us tonight, watching this game for that very reason, the national rankings.
Here we go, 4th and goal at the 1. Preston had a bad exchange, but he's got enough to get into the end zone for the touchdown. That was close.
I tell you, that was a gutty call, and it was very close.
Because I'll tell you, he's having all kinds of problems with the exchange, and he did again on this one.
Well, he had to make a great cut. It looked like they had him. Bobbled the snap.
But
only the superior athletic ability gets him into the end zone there.
He fumbled the ball, actually, but he was already in the end zone. Let me say this. You're going to think you almost have him, Coach, all night, and you don't have him. He's that good.
For his slender build, he runs with power. I mean, he's not afraid to take a hit, and he certainly gives out his share.
Tough and smart kid.
170-pounder. Kick is up, and it is good. 7-6. Woodland Hills goes to the lead with 11:09 left here in the second quarter. Well, we've been talking about Steve Preston had the big run to set up his own number from a yard out on 4th down. And here's what George Novak has to say about his superstar quarterback, Coach Schmidt, rather.
I've never seen a guy been able to, I just wish he'd be a little bit predictable. I mean, he's so unpredictable that it just scares the heck out of you. And it's going to require 11 guys on our defense to really do their assignments in order to, be where we need to be if this guy decides to take it and run.
When he's talking about assignment football, he's referring to what?
Well, everybody's staying at home. Everybody watching their keys. When you play someone like Preston, you certainly have to have a spy on them. One of the linebackers or rover backs. Certainly, both defensive ends have to be very cautious and, keep them inside, try to get them to run back into the pursuit. You saw what happened once he gets to the outside and one-on-one with secondary people.
So 7-6 our score. That was a big conversion made.
Extra points.
Huge.
Each one would be an adventure with everything that can go wrong.
Looking at Justin Edwards, 5'10", 175-pound senior for Neshaminy there. Coach's son here, Austin Novak. He won a football game in triple overtime earlier this season against Pittsburgh Central Catholic. They came very close in that game to losing. And here comes Edwards the other way. Positive yardage, nice return all the way up to about the 32-yard line. Pick up a 24. That was the big game for them this year. They beat Pittsburgh Central Catholic, Woodland Hills we're referring to, 31-28 in triple overtime. And it was Preston on 4th and 4 that had to send it into triple overtime. So they've been on the bubble a little bit.
I think the thing about that game, too, is they had that game in hand, and then Central Catholic just suddenly rallied. A big turnover by Woodland Hills, and and the Vikings took advantage of it, and they got into overtime, and it was just a fight to the finish for both teams. Two great football teams. Central Catholic clearly one of the best teams in the state this year as well.
Brittingham, and he is hit and dropped after a gain of about a yard. And in on the stop is going to be Rob Smiley, their big linebacker.
Rob is probably, well, he's already a recruit for the MAC teams. I think Kent University's high on Smiley.
Yezevich also there.
Woodland Hills, great defensive line. Big and athletic. Really impressed with the way they come off blocks and move.
I like Vernon Little, 54, you're looking at right there. That's a football player. Look at him gleaning with all that water and mud. 6'2", 235. 2nd and 9 for Neshaminy. Waiter to pass, and it's behind Brittingham. He had to pull the trigger because the pressure was on. So 3rd and 9, and that'll stop the clock with 10:17 left. Well, that time you talk about assignment football, a lot of guys stayed home. They're really, even if he caught that ball, there wasn't going to be much room for him to improvise from there.
I think Dougie Selman got his hand on that football. I didn't quite see it clearly on the replay, but it looked like Doug Selman, another guy who could potentially be a Division I recruit.
That's part of the Neshaminy game plan. Get Brittingham the ball, throw it to him in open space.
Sure, they'd like to get Keith Ennis involved too. There he is at the bottom of your screen. He wears number 1 for Neshaminy, and we've got
that is the delay of the game.
Delay of game. The clock is done. The 25-second clock violation here.
Yeah, the last couple games, Ennis has been touching the ball more and more. He's such a threat. Not only a great receiver, but you put him in the slot, run him counters with him, reverses.
As you look at Keith Ennis, again, a 65-yard kickoff return last week after Cumberland Valley had tied at 19-19 deep into the 4th quarter. And there are his season numbers. Waiter back to throw, has time, has a man. It's going to be the tight end, and it is caught by Mullen. He's well short of a first down, but it does buy them a little more space up near the 40-yard line. They're about 2 yards shy. So they're going to be forced to punt.
Okay, this could be tough on the snapper. Hopefully that ball's dry.
Bill Thomas back to punt for Neshaminy. 7-6 game right now.
Good snap.
It's a low rider, and that's going to be covered by Neshaminy at the 34-yard line.
You're not going to get much of a roll on your punts tonight, fellas.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
I'm sure Coach Smith is just glad to get that out of there. That was...
If you're golfing, you can go right for the pin. You don't need to worry about any...
I was thinking the same thing.
You don't need to worry about your up and down in this.
That is if you can see the pin.
You got that right. Something out there tonight.
Rarely do I get a clear view of the pin after my first shot.
Well, here comes Woodland Hills looking to take another shot of the end zone. Here's Dutrell with some space for the first time, and he dices and slices for about 9 or 10 and close to another Woodland Hills first down up near that 44-yard line.
Well, that defense for Neshaminy last week had to deal with 2 big battering rams, and Dan Lawler and Regis Perry from Cumberland Valley. And they had a little trouble stopping that in the first half last week, but the second half was a whole different story.
It's a nice lead block by Doug Connor, the fullback.
There's Dutrell on the year. He's been sensational.
Well, between Dutrell and Breston, you're talking about over 3,000 yards rushing between the two of them.
Let's go down to Mike Conti while we have an opportunity. Mike. So we'll go back to Mike when we can here. He may have been flooded out down there. We got to get a shot of him, his pant legs there. He's been standing that mud all day. He's our MVP, dealing with the elements.
You guys who were talking golf, Mark Schmidt, 7 handicap, and he'll sandbag you. He's missed a lot of good days, but I don't think he minds. This is his first passion, coaching.
So they moved chains out. Look at that. There's our partner right there. Now that's working hard.
PCN's going to take care of the dry cleaning bill there.
I don't know if dry cleaning's really going to get that job done, but that's Mike Conti is working hard, doing a great job for us all weekend long. Dutrell.
Straight ahead for the first down.
It's easy to get such push. Talk to me a little bit about the offensive line of Woodland Hills, Gordon. I know you've seen them a few times this year. Burgoyne gets a lot of the ink, but these guys play so very well together. There's a lot of trust, and they have a lot of career starts playing as a unit.
Well, you know, and two, it's underclassmen who really kind of stepped in to back up Burgoyne. But we talked about Dan Moses for Washington. Same deal here with Brian. Big time, super Division I player. But guys like Bannister, Durrell, Hall, and Strauss, I mean, they're right there too.
Reston, another exchange, and then he's hit and dropped from behind. That would be the 5th one that I have. That counts as the 5th fumble. Let's see that again and get an idea. This has really been tough.
Just lost the handle.
Then he got blindsided in there. Jeff Donahue came.
You got to feel for him and Strauss right now. They are struggling with that exchange. It's just very tough. It's just very tough. You just have to really concentrate.
Preston breaks one tackle. Now gets into the secondary. He's still going.
Oh, I think he fumbled it though.
Did that ball come out again?
Yeah, it did.
That was that same quarterback trap play.
He got it back though. That's how quick and slick he is.
We've got him for 6 fumbles here. We're going to get the official number, and they have recovered 6. Okay, they're counting 5. The last one would count as a fumble as well. Are you counting that? That counts.
He was stripped right there.
So Swope.
Swope was the guy who stripped the tight end who made a catch for Cumberland Valley in the final minutes of that game last week, and Brittingham recovered to set up the victory.
Here comes Dutrell. He powers for a first down, and he gets a couple of more after that, all the way to the Neshaminy 41-yard line. Gain of 5.
Swope has really come up big in the second half of the season. Devin Swope, a junior, he's 6 foot 180. Interceptions, just key plays in the secondary.
There's a little power from Kareem Dutrell.
I'll tell you, once he makes contact, he's going to push the pile a couple more yards.
Big and strong.
He's got what they call some shock to him, doesn't he, when he hits in there?
Built low to the ground.
Ball officially now at the Neshaminy 40-yard line. Woodland Hills with the lead and the ball. And I believe that's
Connor.
But just think,
every now and then they pop that fullback in there.
Well, what's happening is, you know, Preston made that big run. Now everybody's being a little bit more leery about what's going on. That's going to give some better running room to Drell and Connor. Now, looks like they're going to bring in their other quarterback as a wideout. Yep, he's going to come in as a wideout.
He's got the clean jersey right now.
Tony Carr, he's a senior, and he's going to go wide right here. See if they think a play with him.
2nd and 2. It's another snap, and this is a loss all the way back up near the 41-yard line. And the play is made for Neshaminy, Chuck Cook. Let's call that the 6th fumble now.
Well, he clearly, Stevie doesn't like the cold, wet weather right now. He's having a heck of a time just grabbing the football. Tough conditions. I would say the rain's letting up, but that doesn't really matter. It's still raining, and it's still wet, and it's cold. Very cold.
You can see he's talking about that, and there's George Novak, the brilliant coach at Woodland Hills. Preston on a keeper. Trying to get a block, and then Neshaminy crawls all over it at about the 44-yard line. Leading the charge for the Redskins, Pat Carroll coming out of his linebacker position. Got help from his friends as well. Brittingham coming out of the safety position. So 4th down and 4, and Woodland Hills is going to punt and play the field position game. We get a chance when Mike Conti is all linked up. Just let us know down in the truck. And obviously any help we can get on numbers. These guys are going to be covered up here in dirt pretty soon.
Fake.
It's a fake, and it's going to be good enough for the first down. Brilliant call and a perfect time for it, and I think we're going to get a late hit and 15 more after that up near the 24-yard line.
Credit George Novak for catching Neshaminy totally asleep and off guard on that play. And then they get some yardage tacked on. Big sequence of plays right there.
Mike Nesby, who's had a big kickoff return this year. Here it is. He's the short man, number 26.
Mike Loveland came up to make the tackle, didn't make the tackle.
They had some people in the area, but hey.
Oh, a face mask, that's what it was.
Give credit to Coach Novak, gutsy call.
Nesby had a 90-yard kickoff return against McKeesport to start the second half in the WPL playoffs. And, well, the fans, they're not even moving around. They're trying to cheer and warm up, but that's what we're dealing with here.
Mike Nesby's a playmaker. He's only 5'8", 160, so he doesn't have that Division I size, but he's a big-time playmaker for this football team. It's ironic. You got a lot of Division I players, but it's those other guys, Coach, that always makes the big difference for you.
Absolutely right. Those Division III, Division II guys. You know, the collective strength of the team is the most important thing.
Here comes Woodland Hills knocking on the door again. I believe that's Doug Connor with the carry. Doug's been getting some work done. I'll tell you, they are just cloaked in mud down there, all the guys on that front. That can be kind of distracting, can it, for a player to be that dirty?
Absolutely.
Kind of
well, different kids react different ways to conditions. You know, some kids, it doesn't faze them, and others are just concerned about it and lose their focus.
Here's Dutrell, and that closed in a hurry. Whew. Big time play there by Sperduto. Not Sperduto, but Steve Brett, rather. 6'4", 284.
Steve's a Division I AA, solid Division I AA recruit. 6'4", 285, I believe is his size.
Correct. Also, Pat Carroll is in there. So we're down to the 4:30 mark coming up here momentarily to go in this second quarter of play. Woodland Hills on a 1-yard, 4th and 1 run, and conversion by Breston has the lead by 1. In trouble the exchange again, and this time gets caught and dropped at the 9-yard line. Pat Carroll again in on the stop. He's had a great first half for Neshaminy.
Bobbled the snap again. Came away with the ball up in the air. He's so quick. He wants to take off so quickly.
Oof, popped right up into the air.
Pat Carroll.
I believe we got an injured player down on the field right now.
Carroll was not going to let him get away that time. A couple plays back when Breston broke it up the left side there.
It's a Woodland Hills player.
Jay Collins had a direct shot at Breston, and it was like he was tackling air.
Yeah, I do not have a number on this, so I'm not going to speculate as to who it is. But it could be big. It could be a real big deal in this game. But I want to make positive, just for sure. One thing you can say too, Mike, and as a head coach, you have to take comfort knowing about just the medical staff, your training staff, and just how far that's come over the years to know that if there is something like this, that there's immediate attention and very good attention.
No question. You know, when you older times, the coach had to be the trainer, and oftentimes you didn't have a doctor on the sideline. That's a concern now the coaches don't have to worry about, and just about every school has the great staff. And
yeah, we're going to
sports
look at the play
people.
again. Yeah.
Oh, his ankle got bent underneath the tackle there. But you know, he's taken a lot of hits this year.
It is Steve Breston.
That is not good news, and that's
a shame, because you really wanted, you know, one of the big things this weekend was to see him.
When Pat Carroll made the tackle, he spun him around and he got his foot caught under Carroll, and another player came in to keep it pinned, and that's where it probably got sprained.
Wow, that's a huge development in this game, but we thought it might have been him, but I didn't want to speculate. The kick is up, and it is no good. He pushed it right. Well, that's a circle moment in this game right now with 3:50 to go. If we could see that play again, this is how Preston got hurt. This is the field goal here by Novak that just pushed wide right. Good shot, gang, as always, from the truck. Oof, not by much he missed that at all. About a 30-yard attempt, so Neshaminy will go back on offense here. They have 3 timeouts to work with, down by 1, and their defense holds Woodland Hills off. Preston has been taken into the locker room. We'll get an update as we can. Here comes Brittingham being strung out. Brittingham trying to step through, and he gets dropped for a loss back at the 15-yard line. The tackle is made by Larry Connolly of Woodland Hills. You know, it's kind of like when you go to the Grand Canyon, you go for the view. When you come to this game to see Woodland Hills, you want to see Preston. That's really disappointing.
Yeah, and all the fans across the state that, you know, I'm sure watching this game tonight.
Just to see this young man play.
And I know we've talked a lot about him, and you just don't know how special he is. And when you're down on the field and watch some of the things he does, it's just incredible. It's hard to explain. And I just feel
a great future. You just your heart aches a little bit because you really want to see him in this environment.
I feel very bad for that situation.
Comes Wader, he's going to throw a little fade route to Brittingham. He's got it, and goodbye. It's a foot race, sprint. Connolly is chasing to the 20. Connolly dives and makes the tackle at the 15-yard line.
You and I talked about this, Coach, yesterday.
William Brown. Whoa, what
that we thought that they had to throw the ball to Brittingham.
Because
he didn't really.
We said Brittingham, he's an excellent receiver.
But they hadn't done a lot of it this year because they didn't have to. 70-yard play right there.
Well, you don't have to do much of it, you know, just 2 or 3, and, you know, he takes them all away.
But William Brown is going to get into
there's some speed there. The one thing about Jamar playing Division I, some people think he could be, you know, a little faster, but he could play for me any day. I mean.
How about that play by William Brown and that hustle there to bring him down from behind? Brittingham between the tackles, 70-yard pickup to the 15, and now a run to the 12-yard line, and Neshaminy is well within field goal range. Trailing by 1, 2:35 left.
When you have a big-time player like Brittingham, you want him to get touches. 15 touches now, 2 catches, 74 yards, 13 runs, 51 yards.
Looks like Wader maybe.
All right, here we come with that jumbo set here. 2 fullbacks, offset, power formation, right behind the fullbacks.
There goes Brittingham inside the 10 to about the 9-yard line. He is hit there by Doug Selman, 6'1", 258, defensive lineman.
Also, Neshaminy flip-flopping their line. They're putting their big guys on one side or the other, and 80 to 90% running behind Fetzko.
They want to get over in that grassy area too there, and that's what they were doing there. I'd like to see who Brittingham actually broke the tackle on that pass play. We'll see that obviously in our halftime highlights.
There you look at Jason Wader, 3rd and 4 for Neshaminy. Hand off Brittingham. It's going to be close as he drives forward to about the 6-yard line. I think he's about a yard shy. He needs closer to the 5, and they're about a half-yard short. I think it's a definite go for it down in here.
I would think so. I think you're going to see the same play.
Coach, do you ever see an emotional reaction by your team when a star player for the other team goes down and has to leave the field? Do you ever see kind of an emotional reaction one way or the other?
Well, it could work either way. They could get discouraged, but, you know, knowing the program here under Coach Novak, I think these kids are just going to fill the void, and each guy picks it up and plays that much harder. But there's, you know, no question, you know, how do you replace a talent like that at quarterback?
Are we looking at Dennis Selman as the backup quarterback? Or is it,
no, it would be Tony Carr.
Tony
Carr would be the backup quarterback. Remember he came in on a play.
Right, you're right. Okay, yeah, number 14 for Woodland Hills.
And he was deep to punt the ball on the fake punt.
He's a senior. He's 5'11", and he's going to be put into a big spot here. Neshaminy is 1 for 5 on 3rd down. They're 1 for 1 on 4th down. And that was on the touchdown that they had scored. Both touchdowns in this game have come on 4th down and goal, right from point blank range. We're looking at 4th, and they're calling it about 2 to go here.
How huge is this play? Because a big stop by Woodland Hills right here would just be a big boost. Get out of this half, see if you can get Preston, get that wheel prepared and get him back on the field for the second half.
If they don't make it, it's not a total disaster.
Woodland
Hills would still have a pretty bad field position.
Left them a long field, 1 timeout.
It would be an understatement to call Neshaminy a second half football team.
They've been behind in 7 games this year and have won all 7.
He did not like what this wide receiver was doing, and he called a timeout again. Wow.
Going to have to be looking for a hard count here. Neshaminy does that very well.
Today's telecast being seen by more than 9 million Pennsylvania residents. That's the audience for today's PIAA Football Championships Quad A between Neshaminy here in Woodland Hills. And thank all of the cable companies around Pennsylvania for having PCN on their system, and you get PIAA championship action. Pennsylvania, the only state in the country where all of their championships are broadcast statewide every year, and PCN has made that happen over the last couple of seasons. Jed Donahue, the coach, Mike Pettin Sr. with Gordon Blaine of Sports Fever magazine. Mike Conti is on the sideline. And now let's go to Mike Conti and see how he's doing. Mike, have you dried off at all? It's nice to have you back.
Yeah, it's good to be back, Jed. I am dry. By the way, Preston, as you mentioned, he is in the locker room. He's getting attention. At halftime, we'll try and check it out. Remember, no x-ray machines here, so we'll see what ends up happening here as Neshaminy goes for it on 4th down.
And 2 to go. They'll need about the 5-yard line. Quick hitter to the fullback, and I don't think so. Is not going to be a first down, I don't think.
Wow, big defense by Woodland Hills. That's a big play. And
Doug Selman led the charge as you see him climb off the field, 6'1", 258. He had a big surge there.
I hate to say this, he's the kind of guy that could, his stock is going to rise in this football game. He's a heck of a football player. I was saying that in the pregame, and he's come to play today, that's for sure. Just 6'1", that's the one thing that some recruiters are a little hesitant about. Well, can that kid play football?
Well, that's the safe call, right, for Neshaminy right there? Do you run wide? I mean, what's really available to you?
I mean, you give it to a power back. Just give credit to Woodland Hills and their defense.
I mean, it's easy to backseat drive after the fact. And there's the new quarterback. He's got the clean jersey, and Kareem Dutrell, there he goes into the clear and all the way up near that 27-yard line. The new quarterback is Tony Carr, 5'11", 174-pounder. He's a senior, so if you are going to do a backup situation, at least bring in a senior. 22-yard gain by Dutrell.
Here's the run-on replay.
He's really a nice player, isn't he? I mean, he's got
good.
Some power to him and the like.
Obviously, we're going to see more Dutrell with Preston being out.
Carr, handoff to Dutrell again. Stepper out move, has 5 and let's say about 8 on that play.
Nice little counter action play.
He is coffee quick to the point of attack.
Chad, Tony Carr in this season, 12,
you found it.
12 completions, 30 attempts, 2 picks, 148 yards.
Okay.
See if we got him in the rushing yards. Yeah, we got him rushing, but he's in minus territory. Probably been sacked and probably some mop-up roll type stuff.
Dutrell again, trying to get it on second effort and lunges forward. He's close as we play out the final seconds of the first half, and I think George Novak is content to go to the locker room leading by 1 here at 7-6. Jeff Donahue gets in on the stop. Well, there you're looking at Woodland Hills. They've got a very, very important halftime coming up, an adjustment halftime.
We got to get Mike Conti over there to find out what's going on with Coach.
He'll be doing that. We've come to the end of the first half of play. We've got first half highlights. We've got first half statistics. Mike Conti is doing a little investigation on Steve Breston's status. You're watching exclusive coverage of the 2001 PIAA Football Championships right here on Pennsylvania's Championship Network, PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network. We're back live in Hershey with more after this.
You're watching PIAA Championship Football exclusively on PCN, Pennsylvania's Championship Network.
The PIAA is a Pennsylvania nonprofit corporation organized on a membership basis. Membership includes most of the public and many private high schools in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. The PIAA develops and enforces rules which are authorized by the member schools to regulate interscholastic athletic competition. The PIAA was formed in 1913 by a group of high school principals to establish uniform rules, eliminate abuses, and place interscholastic athletics in the overall context of secondary education. The purposes of the PIAA are defined in Article 2 of its Constitution. They are to organize, develop, and direct an interscholastic athletic program which will promote, protect, and conserve the health and physical welfare of all participants, to formulate and maintain policies that will safeguard the educational values of interscholastic athletics and cultivate the high ideals of good sportsmanship, and to promote uniformity of standards in all interscholastic athletic competition. The PIAA believes that the student athlete is best served by a system which emphasizes the amateur, educational, and character-building aspects of high school sports, a system which recognizes that athletics is not the driving force, but rather that students are in school primarily to obtain an education. The membership of the PIAA consists of approximately 1,300 schools, divided almost equally between senior high schools and junior high middle schools. Of that membership, approximately 150 are private schools. Nearly 250,000 students participate in interscholastic athletics under the PIAA each year, placing Pennsylvania 7th in the United States for the 1997-98 school year. The four major areas in which the PIAA currently operates are the following: establishment and enforcement of rules governing the eligibility of high school athletes to participate in interscholastic athletics. These include rules for academic performance, attendance requirements, transfer students, pre-participation physical evaluations, age, and amateur status. Organizing and operating 27 post-regular season playoffs and championships in 10 girls sports, and 31 post-regular season playoffs and championships in 11 boys sports. Adopting the playing rules for each sport under its jurisdiction. With the exception of bowling, golf, girls lacrosse, rifle, and tennis, all other playing rules adopted by the PIAA are published by the National Federation of State High School Associations, of which the PIAA has been a member since 1925. Registering and training officials to officiate at contests in which the PIAA member schools participate. Nearly 13,000 officials are currently registered with the PIAA. The PIAA's principal source of revenue is the sale of tickets to its playoffs and championships. Gate receipts enable the PIAA to operate without taxpayer financing. The PIAA also provides services to its members on a day-to-day basis through its headquarters in Upper Allen Township, Cumberland County, near Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. The PIAA assists member schools and families by providing the student-athlete with opportunities for achievement.
Hello, and welcome to the Pennsylvania Cable Network. We're delighted to join with you in celebrating high school athletics in the Commonwealth. Everything that we do here at PCN, from our daily coverage of the General Assembly to programs exploring manufacturing, from carriage of significant Pennsylvania events to our satellite distribution across the state, all of this is made possible by Pennsylvania cable television companies which carry our network on their channel lineup. Often at PCN, we'll list the names and service areas of local cable TV providers. These are the community-minded companies which voluntarily pay a monthly fee to cover network programming and operating costs. PCN receives no state funding. We are supported instead through the generosity of cable systems which make PCN available to their subscribers. In watching high school sports on PCN, we hope you'll remember the commitment of Pennsylvania cable television companies. They're the ones that make this network and today's programming possible.
Homework Help on PCN is a live 2-hour interactive call-in program for students in grades 1 through 12.
You got to get your homework done. This is the show to watch.
State-certified teachers will work through math and science questions with students.
When two things are written side by side, what does it mean? Divide. So what I do to one side, I do to the other, and you're home free.
Homework Help on PCN airs throughout the school year on Sundays, live at 5 p.m. PIAA championships throughout the year exclusively on PCN. In February, team wrestling. In March, diving, swimming, wrestling, and boys and girls basketball. In May, track and field. In June, boys volleyball, girls spring soccer, baseball, and softball. In November, girls volleyball, field hockey, boys and girls soccer, and cross country. And rounding out the year in December, championship football. For additional high school sporting events, check our website at pcntv.com. Watch regular season high school basketball matchups live on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Friday nights at 7:30, it's regional hoops action on PCN's Game of the Week. PCN Game of the Week leads up to exclusive basketball championship coverage in March. High school wrestlers grapple all winter long on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Saturday nights at 9, PCN's Match of the Week features some of the best wrestling matchups from around the state. Catch the excitement of primetime high school wrestling Saturday nights, exclusively on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. The State Farm Show live on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Watch the championship rodeo, folk dance contest, livestock judging, horse and pony pulling competitions, cooking and wildlife demonstrations, the Sheep to Shawl event, and more as PCN presents sights and sounds of Pennsylvania's premier agricultural showcase. Around-the-clock coverage of the State Farm Show airs in January, exclusively on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. The Pennsylvania Cable Network, your exclusive home for PIAA state championship sports. Throughout the scholastic season, the best high school teams and athletes compete for state gold on PCN. For a complete listing of championship dates and times, visit our website at pcntv.com. PCN, Pennsylvania's championship network. PCN tours of Pennsylvania manufacturers, museums, and historic sites air weekdays on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Here's this week's daily tour schedule. The Pennsylvania Cable Network's daily program schedule is available by email. To take advantage of this free service, send your email address to pcntv@pcntv.com. The Pennsylvania Cable Network is offering viewers a copy of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Legislative Directory. The booklet includes names, pictures, and information about the members of Pennsylvania's Senate and House of Representatives. The directory also provides information about committee assignments, the executive branch, and how to contact your state legislators. To receive your copy, write to the Pennsylvania Cable Network Legislative Directory, 401 Fallowfield Road, Camp Hill, PA 17011. Include a $5 check or money order payable to the Pennsylvania Cable Network. One directory per household, please. Teachers, feel free to record PCN for use in the classroom. Our programming includes coverage of House and Senate floor debates, public hearings, PCN profiles of prominent Pennsylvanians, PA books, interviews with authors on Pennsylvania topics, PCN tours of factories and museums, call-in programs featuring public officials discussing current events, and Pennsylvania history, including James Buchanan, the 15th President of the United States, and George Washington, a series with lesson plans on our website. PCN programming may be recorded for use in the classroom. College students majoring in communications or political science, the Pennsylvania Cable Network is now accepting internship applications for all semesters. Interns gain valuable hands-on experience and network with industry professionals. For more information about PCN and internship opportunities, visit our website at pcntv.com. To apply, email your resume or send it to Pennsylvania Cable Network, 401 Fallowfield Road, Camp Hill, PA 17011. PCN's exclusive coverage of PIAA Championship football continues on PCN, Pennsylvania's championship network.
Welcome back to Hershey Park Stadium. Our score at the half, Woodland Hills leading Neshaminy 7-6 in the Quad A finals here at Hershey Park Stadium. Mike Conti joined by Bob Lombardi of the PIAA. Bob, thanks for joining us. And aside from what Mother Nature dealt you, I think this is all in all a pretty successful weekend for you.
Yeah, look in the stands right tonight. This is quite a crowd for this liquid sunshine we're getting here. We're really pleased. We've had great teams, great play, and these the first three games were outstanding. And this one's going to be a barn burner right down to the end too.
Having covered college football for a number of years now, I really liken this to something of a bowl atmosphere for these high school teams. Is that what you're trying to create for them?
Oh, absolutely, and I think that's what has transpired here in the last 4 years, and that was our goal. And kudos to PCN and WITF for their production, and Jed Donahue, what he's done as promoting this, along with Tom Elling and Rich Vitak with the Pennsylvania Football News and the writers from across the state. They've really done a great job embellishing this, and let's, as Emro would say, let's rack it up a level, you know what I mean?
The Jed Donahue publicity machine rolls on here at Hershey Park. This caps off the fall sports season finally now in December. Very successful year once again. How did everything go across the board from field hockey to football?
Well, we're quite pleased. I think our schools need to be commended, especially their coaches. And our championships went quite well. Field hockey, we had some great attendance. Our cross country went magnificently, and we were very proud of that. But at a new venue with a late change in the venue because of a football change at Penn State. But fall went well, and we're looking forward to a great winter and spring championships and continuing I guess, the goal of the champions.
So I guess next up now is team wrestling?
Team wrestling's right around the corner, right in February, and individual wrestling, swimming and diving, basketball, it'll be here before you know it.
Which you can see on PCN, by the way. Throw that little promo out. Bob Lombardi, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thank you, Mike, anytime.
All right, enjoy the second half. And Jed, as we throw it back up to you, checked on the Woodland Hills sideline. As far as Steve Breston's condition goes, haven't heard anything definite, but I have been told, quote, it does not look good. Let's go back up to you now for highlights and stats.
All right, a big development there, and Mike hanging in there. And good evening, everyone. The huddle and the puddle continues. I love having this roof over my head, though. How you doing, gentlemen? Little football here. We got
cold.
7-6 here at the break, and Gordon, you've got some news on Preston as well. What are you hearing?
Well, our guy Wayne Williams from Sports Fever Magazine down on the sidelines as when Preston went in. He's had a nicked up ankle all year long. I saw him hurt it against Penn Hills in their last regular season game over at the Wolverina, and it looks like it's the right ankle again. He got it twisted underneath, and there's a question mark whether he'll be back in the second half or not. They're going to work on him and see what they can do.
All right, and trying to warm that ankle up in this kind of weather is not an easy thing to do. Let's have a look at some of the stats here in this first half. Not many first half. These teams are dealing in short fields in a lot of these particular drives. Go ahead, guys, and tell me what stat stands out for you. Mike, we'll start with you.
Well, I just think, you know,
pretty much
overall,
in the mirror,
pretty much
isn't it?
it's a mirror image. Of course, the turnovers.
Actually,
Woodland Hills, or the number of fumbles.
That's the key, that just took away the rhythm.
They got him back.
They had 6 fumbles, but got them all back, as you talked about.
But they've kept Brittingham under control to some degree. And the big pass is where they get the passing yardage for Neshaminy. Preston, pretty much all the rushing yards for Woodland Hills. You know, Stevie Preston has been involved in over 25 touchdowns of more than 40 yards, either passing or running the football.
That's a stunning number right there. And we've got some interesting pictures to share with you from this opening half. The big score is 7-6. It's almost like first down 7-5, but here's the first touchdown, and this is Collins going in from a yard out on 4th down. Big surge. You love that kind of play. Power the fullback.
And power football.
That was a short field drive of 6 plays, 35 yards.
That's another 4th and 1. And that's Steve Breston before the ankle injury. He had 7. We have it for 7 exchange fumbles in that first half, but they got them all back. Go ahead, guys. Love Kareem Dutrell and what he can do. He's really impressed you, Mike.
Absolutely. Runs with that wide base, good body lean. He's a running back, but actually he reminds me more of a fullback type.
Here's this exchange situation that's been a storyline the entire first half.
He has been coming out of this
well,
from center.
Preston just was complaining his hands were so cold. And as I say, different kids react different ways.
Here's the play of the game, really, as to what it could have on its impact.
That's Koch, came in over on top of Carroll's tackle, bent it back. And he did fumble the ball there. They ruled him down, obviously.
Now here's Brittingham, but the real play in this, if you ask me, is made by William Brown, chasing him down from behind.
That was a nice touch pass.
But
you know, I should mention Brittingham has been playing with a banged up knee, and he runs a 4.6 40.
But William Brown,
he looks like you know, he doesn't have his regular stride, but there's no question there. It was a good effort to run him down.
Remember that tackle could be the game saver.
Because Neshaminy turned it over on downs at the 6-yard line on 4th down. So the field conditions, although the rain has kind of let up a little bit, that'll give us some relief. And if we can go back to Mike Conti with that, who's kind of right at field level for us. Exactly what you're seeing here is we get some change in the weather. Not a lot, but some.
Well, that's the key, not a lot. I mean, it is still raining, but it's down to a drizzle right now. The problem is, though, Jed, really the damage has been done. When you take a look at the field, once again, especially between the hash marks right now, the field conditions are just not very good. Both teams complaining about footing problems between the hash marks. Look for both teams to try and go out to the boundary a little bit more here in the second half where the footing is a little bit better. There's also some standing water at midfield right now. That doesn't seem to have too much of an effect on either team right now, but the weather certainly still the story. Even though the rain is letting up, the conditions on the field certainly will not improve, even with the rain ceasing, at least for the moment.
All right, Mike Patton, we've got Tony Carr coming in now as a quarterback. You tell a backup to always be ready. You got a superstar type player in Breston who's out. I mean, as a coach, and you can't exactly do it verbatim, but let's tap into your experience as to how you approach his preparation now.
Well, you just tell your team, you know, obviously they're in a situation they all realize what they have to do. As I said in the first half, they have to fill the void. Each guy has to try a little harder. You know, if you want to go down in history as a great championship team, you're going to have to overcome adverse moments like this. And at this point, we're going to see what Woodland Hills is made of.
And the Neshaminy, obviously, they know that they don't really have to worry about Breston to get a different type of style, so their game planning will change subtly.
I got to be concerned. I mean, if I'm the Neshaminy, I put together some nice plays and move the football, and I only have 6 points to show for it. They go down there and can't get it done on a 4th and 1. And the Woodland Hills defense, you know, put the stop up twice on him. You gotta like what Woodland Hills defense did. And when you think about it, if you had to pick the 4 units right now that stood the tallest in the toughest terms, it was Woodland Hills defense.
All right, let's go to midfield right now and eavesdrop with Richard Schuyler, the referee.
Gentlemen, great half of football. Why, it's your choice. With the ball, which way you want to kick, Red? You want to defend the goal. So turn your back to the goal. Come this way, please. White will receive. Go ahead, guys.
Now, Jed, you also challenge your defense to step it up, realizing you lost a lot of your offensive firepower, and you got to be telling that defense, hey, we got a 1-point lead here. If you do your job and you shut them out, we win no matter what.
The guys in the truck bring up a great point, because you went through this yourself in the final game you coached in 1999 when you lost Dustin Pisciotti early in your game with the Erie Cathedral Prep, and you know, you kind of have a similar situation.
Our emphasis, we just reminded our guys, hey, we're not a one-man team. And obviously with a program like Woodland Hills, they've been doing it with a lot of different people. They'll just have to push a few different buttons, and Dutrell will have to get the ball a little bit more and pop their fullback in there. But again, the defense is going to have to be the key.
And Gordon, you know, you've been talking all throughout this whole week as we preview this about Neshaminy and the resiliency that they have shown, trailing in 7 football games. They've been in pennant pressure. They've been in some pick'em stuff into the 4th quarter. Here they are again, only down 1 in the gold medal game.
They were down 12-0 last week to Cumberland Valley and getting pushed around pretty good in the first half, but here they are again.
So we're about ready to start the second half, and actually we're going to break from the rain for the first time in almost 6.5 hours. Start a little bit before 11 o'clock, and we're about ready to get rolling here in the second half. Let's go to Mike Conti. Mike?
Austin is on the field, Jed. He's warming up. He's going to try and go here to start the second half. Called a miraculous recovery in the halftime locker room. Again, Breston on the field. He is going to warm up.
All right, thank you. That is a big development there. Short kick. This is Nesby. Nesby's a definite game breaker. We mentioned he had a 90-yard kickoff return to start the second half in their win over McKeesport in the WPIL playoffs. And let's see.
Excellent field position.
Let's see if Breston is coming. Here he is. Wow.
Amazing.
He's got some bounce, too. He's moving around pretty good. Well, the training staff gets a big star.
A great boost psychologically.
Well, listen to the crowd over there right now when he walked out on the field.
Here's Dutrell. Dutrell running hard all game long, as we expected. A 1,000-yard guy on the season, gets about 4 yards to about the 42-yard line. He is hit in there by Neshaminy's Austin Jones,
outside
linebacker.
Yesterday we saw Rochester and West Allegheny seize control of those football games on opening drives of the second half.
I'll tell you, with each passing moment, he has a little more bounce in his step.
Well, I don't know how they warmed that up.
I don't know if you want to run him early, but
he was down for anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes when he did injure the ankle.
Here he goes.
Flag is down. Here comes Preston. He's got the first down. He's got some power move to the 40-yard line, but a flag is down. I think we'll get a motion penalty. This is going to come back, I do believe. We're still waiting for the verdict. Richard Schuyler, the referee. Here it is.
A little shift.
There he comes. That's something they're going to monitor the entire way. Let's see it again.
I got a little shift on the white. Repeat,
tell you what, for a bad ankle, he made a pretty good cut.
Looks like he's got some dry clothes on as well there, some dry unis.
But this cold weather really bothered him on the exchange.
Yeah.
We mentioned 7 exchange fumbles,
Wendell
but they got them all back.
Wendell said he was fumbling the ball because his hands felt like, quote, ice. That's what he told them when he came off the field.
But with this rain letting up, that'll at least help him. He's going to throw his first pass now. Looking downfield, and it is caught. What a sensational catch on the far side of the field. I believe that is, I got to look just to make sure, that is going to be Brian Coleman.
How about that pass, guys?
How about that pass?
Who says he
How
can't
about
throw
that
the ball?
catch?
Who says he can't throw the ball?
And you're beating a pretty good D back there.
That's Keith
And
Ennis.
it's on the coverage.
Boy, that is some kind of play right there. 31 yards, all the way down to the 32 of Neshaminy. Dutrell right up the gut, flag comes down. This is going to come back, I believe. There's a flag down to the 31-yard line.
But Woodland Hills has come out with a real purpose here in this opening drive of the second half. You can tell they're charging off, firing off the ball.
Shift again against Woodland Hills.
Woodland Hills having to overcome a lot of mistakes here with the fumbled snaps and procedure penalties.
On the white. Repeat first down.
They call motion on the white that time, that being Woodland Hills.
And they're tripping 96 to Altoona to play Downingtown. It had already gotten out of hand by this time in the third quarter. Dan Ellis at quarterback. That was a great Downingtown team. Marlon Harris.
D. Williams, a quarterback for Woodland Hills,
Right.
ended up going to Syracuse.
And then
they had Delrico Fletcher, who went to Rutgers.
Right.
Dutrell, quick handoff. He is hit and dropped. Maybe a yard. That's all. Big play for Neshaminy by Austin Jones again. Jones shooting the gap here out of that linebacker position. And Collins.
Collins is a linebacker. They put him in a three-point stance there.
He's tough both ways.
And Jones finished what Collins started. Ball at the 37-yard line. Steve Breston back in the game, nursing a tender ankle. Gonna throw it again. Pass is
great
caught
catch
over there. Wow, what a play.
Oh.
Ryan Mundy. First down, Woodland Hills to the 18-yard line. A pickup of 19.
Let's watch this one.
They're picking on the best athlete in the secondary for Neshaminy and doing a job of it.
Look at that concentration.
Whoa.
That is phenomenal. Great picture.
What a super play.
Oof. Back to live action. Dutrell slams for about 5, 6, make it 7. He just kept his feet moving. Running behind Burgoyne, their big All-American tackle.
Well, it's clear that Stevie Breston's return has really given them an emotional charge. And we've seen the WPL team, PIL teams have seemed to have a little bit of an emotional edge this weekend. They come out charged up and they maintain it throughout the football game.
Tony Carr, the backup quarterback, in at a wide receiver position right now. Mundy is in as well. Dutrell gonna run wide. Breaks a tackle, has the 10 to the 9-yard line, close to a first down. Might be about a half-yard shy. Tackle is made by Pat Carroll of Neshaminy.
Seems that Woodland Hills is at a little higher emotional pitch than in the first half. What do you think?
I would say.
Kareem Dutrell, 16 carries, 77 yards right now.
So give Carroll the tackle and a timeout for Woodland Hills. 7-6 is our score. Woodland Hills on the lead. Well, obviously, when you get down into this deep into the territory, you want to make sure you cash in at this
Absolutely.
point.
Take a timeout if there's any doubt.
Right.
Collect your thoughts. Make sure you got the right call.
I love how Coach Novak just quietly prods his way out with his quarterback just to calm everybody down, say no problems, fellas. We know what we're going to do here to get this done.
He's run a great program over the years. And
well,
I know he does a great job promoting his kids, getting them in college, and I've seen some highlight tapes he's made for his players, and you know, that's part of the program. You take care of your kids, and they play that much harder for you.
This is the last game his son will be playing for him. We saw that last night with Tyler Palco and Bob Palco. His son Austin, a senior, will be going on to play some Division I football.
Welcome everybody on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Pennsylvania.
I guess he's had to expand his office to take care of all the recruiters this year.
You should see his office.
I mean,
His
You
office,
must have to give them tickets.
his office
Line them up when they come in.
is in the bowels of the Wolverina, stuffed in there underneath the stadium stands.
3rd and 1. Dutrell's got an opening. Touchdown, Woodland Hills. He's in from 9. So they're up 13-6.
Well, penalty flag.
Well, flag is down. That may come back. What do they got over here? That's Dutrell with a touchdown. They have not put the points up.
An illegal shift on the outfield.
It's the 3rd illegal shift they have.
I'll tell you.
3rd down. Illegal shift. White. 3rd down.
So 7-6.
I couldn't see it.
Well, the flag, I didn't see the flag until I looked up.
Oh,
So
they
the
called
five-
a legal shift. We're
3rd
gonna
and
have to take
7.
a look at it on replay.
So 3rd and 7 now, and that takes away a 9-yard touchdown run by Dutrell. Here's Preston, this quarterback keeper all the way. Preston is going to get hit and drop from behind for Neshaminy, Jeff Donahue.
Quarterback sweep.
It looks like he is limping on that ankle, but he's toughing it out.
Young man has a lot of courage.
So they're looking at 4th and 2.
This
He
is,
goes to wipe his hands off.
this is the kind of legendary stuff you see in these state championship games.
I think his legend was secure coming in. He's only enhancing it here by coming off a ankle injury. They come to their feet here in Hershey. Dutrell, he didn't get there. They stopped him. Well, the penalty was a huge deal. So we'll see that again. Huge play. Jay Collins. Jeff Donahue made the initial hit. You see Steve Brett, the 6'4", 284-pound sophomore coming
Jeff
in as
Donahue,
well.
watch him grab him and hold on to his waist pads. He grabbed the hold of his pads and held on
It
to him.
appeared Neshaminy gambled a little bit, had a feeling where it was going to go, and overshifted to that side and brought some heat.
See if that can get some momentum. This will be their first series of the 2nd half. Brittingham looking to run wide, maybe going to throw a left-hander looking for Ennis deep downfield. It's caught.
Oh my!
Sensational catch by Ennis up to the 42, a gain of 31, and an even better throw by Brittingham because he throws it away from coverage. It's either incomplete and out of bounds, or he makes the catch.
Now he threw a touchdown pass on this play earlier in the season. He throws it on a run. Right on the money, Coach.
Right on the money.
Good coverage. There was nothing wrong with that coverage at all.
Big concentration. Concentrate and see that ball right in your hands.
Kevin Thomas was all over it, but Ennis just got position, swiveled his hips, and was right there. Big play of 31 yards up to the 42, and it looks like Woodland Hills has jumped off sides. Doug Selman jumping early. Tell you, this Neshaminy crowd is coming to life over here on the press box side. You really feel a sense of momentum. I mean, games are played in surges, and right now Neshaminy is riding one.
That was a big play. Now Neshaminy has great field position. They can open things up.
You always love to hit a home run type of play, don't you, after you get a big defensive stop like that?
No question. And that was a great call, and watch out for Ennis. Ennis can throw the halfback pass also.
He's at the top of your screen, split out at a wide receiver position. Brittingham cuts it up. He's right in the mud, in the muck.
They went to that jumbo backfield and ran away from it. Little counter tray action.
Let's check in with Mike Conti, because that's where Mike started the show today. And Mike, where that play and where that ball is probably the worst part of this right now.
Indeed, but you have to think right now, the momentum clearly on the side of Neshaminy. I even think the crowd is a factor right now. The Neshaminy fans creating a lot of noise. We've really seen a full spectrum of emotion. Breston really giving Woodland Hills a boost, and now the great play of Brittingham and Neshaminy giving it right back to the Redskins.
Hand off, Brittingham again, bounces off and gets down near the 42-yard line.
Once again, hard running, second effort. Look at that leg drive.
First 10-10 now for Neshaminy. The ball at the 43 of Woodland Hills. Trailing in this game at 7-6. Fast-moving third quarter.
And an ace backfield, fullback, long back.
Dennis got the handoff on the way through, and they read that well. That is a huge play. I believe Mundy got him.
Nice open field tackle. Anytime you get Ennis one-on-one on the open field and bring him down, it's a great play.
Good ball fake, and Mundy just stayed home and made the play. That is a great play by that cornerback.
Absolutely.
To read that.
That Brittingham is an offset back.
They'll give it to Ennis a second straight time. He's cutting and just wiped out at about the 38-yard line. In on the stop is going to be William Brown for Woodland Hills.
Now, they got the ball to Ennis last week against Cumberland Valley, but they kind of ran that Chafee Fields wing back around, flanker around handoff where he comes running by the quarterback and gets a quick handoff. They're running him right out of the tailback spot this time around.
Well, 3rd and 5 for Neshaminy right now. Underneath 5 minutes to go in this game.
I don't see that
in the quarter,
25-second clock.
Thank
started
you.
up. Little play action. It's a tight end on a drag.
Throws. He's got his man. It's caught for a first down and more. Scott Mullins got it to the 20. Gain of 18 and a first down for Neshaminy.
Scott Mullen, eight catches, 116 yards.
This is our
coming
bread
in.
and butter play action play. Little waggle action. Tight end dragging across. Fullback in the flat.
Boy, I like him.
They've used that play to pull out a couple games this year.
Mullen came in with just 8 catches for 116 yards and 2 touchdowns on the year. He's had 2 in this game. That's a big move. They convert on 3rd and 5, and we've got a whistle and a flag. Might be a motion on Neshaminy. They're going to go back up 5 more yards.
Somebody jumped in the line.
That's a tough penalty to take, especially after you get that big
Dead
momentum
ball,
booster shot there.
false start, offense.
Jed, that pass to Mullen was similar pass play they did to beat CB West on the final play of the game.
That was the same play.
They've had some narrow escapes. They have been Houdini-like in getting out of some deficits late. Ball fake, quick hitter this time, and it's going to be Donahue, the fullback, to the 18-yard line, so they get 7 of it back. They're looking at 2nd and 8 right now.
Now, they did this against Cumberland Valley, where they kind of used Brittingham as a way to open things up for other people against Cumberland Valley, and they're doing the same thing right now.
Absolutely, and they have 2 great fullbacks, so why not utilize them?
They're using him to drag people away from and to get some good one-on-one matchups and move the football.
Play action. Waiter's going to keep it himself. Hit from behind and out of bounds. Tackle is made. Mark Malloy in on the stop, I believe. Make that Lonnie Diorlo, 6'1", 236 senior. There's your time remaining at the top of the screen in the third quarter. Neshaminy on a big drive.
He's got Ennis up there. Well, now they're going to give him some double coverage now.
Going to roll. Now they go back to Brittingham. Into the weak side. He's loose inside the 10 all the way to the 4-yard line.
Good play.
A gain of 13.
Great call. Big time call.
That time they faked waggle. They went with a throwback screen.
I think they were thinking, they got double coverage over there on Ennis, thinking they were going to get a little fade thing onto him. He rolls there, then turns back.
Neshaminy goal to go. First down at the 4-yard line.
He got his two best linemen out on that screen pass, Fetzko and Brett. They really didn't have to block anybody because it was just so well designed.
Woodland Hills is going to use their second timeout.
The surprise was Brittingham was all alone. You got to keep him in your sights at all times.
Welcome the more than 9 million state residents watching this telecast tonight on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Exclusive coverage of the 2001 PIAA Football Championships on Pennsylvania's Championship Network, PCN, who brings you all of the PIAA state championships throughout the 2001-2002 school year. And we thank all of the cable companies throughout the Commonwealth and the Keystone State for bringing these exciting state championships to you here. And certainly got an exciting game here in Quad A, guys. 7-6. And that throwback screen, that was a big-time call right there, as you had aptly pointed out. Both these coaches
right now,
really.
You got Brittingham territory inside the 10.
Right now they're at the 4 and goal to go. They'll give it to Brittingham. He streaks through. Touchdown. Neshaminy has reclaimed the lead. It's now 12-7. And I think a 2-point conversion here is probably what you got to be thinking about. Go for 2.
I would, especially with the you have to field conditions.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening here.
He just ran over a few people.
Tezik was there. He got some things chipped out of the way, and Brittingham just flew in there. That's a big-time drive for the Redskins to reclaim the lead, and now a big 2-point conversion play coming. There's
they
Donahue
like the fullback
in motion.
In the flat here.
They're going to throw it to Donnie, make that Mullen, and he's got the conversion. Boy, that was wonderfully executed. Mullen just kind of...
Nobody covered the tight end.
Yeah. So it's now 14-7. 2:58. Go ahead, Mike.
Again, it's a little fake to Brittingham. Tight end, down and out. I'm sure the defender went for the fake.
And here's the touchdown run by Brittingham. And to give that offensive line credit, they really got good search.
He broke a couple tackles.
Gordon's got the drive chart on Neshaminy right there.
10 plays, 89 yards in 4 minutes and 31 seconds. Right now, you know, Brittingham has, to my knowledge, has not been held under 100 yards all years. In fact, I think his lowest game was last week, 156 yards. Right. But here's the key. They're throwing the ball more to him, like we talked about.
Right.
He's got a total of 176 yards catch and run. And that in itself is the kind of offense you're looking for from him. You knew they were going to throw the ball more to him.
Don't forget about the big pass on that drive. The key play in that drive is a pass to Ennis that got him rolling.
But again, I think you got to credit their balance. They got the fullbacks into the game. Ennis is in the game. And, of course, their quarterback doing a super job throwing the ball to a couple receivers.
Dutrell is deep for Woodland Hills. Also deep here for the Wolverines. Going to be Darlin Cochran.
Guys, I think the rain is about let up, but it almost looks like there's a fog starting to set in.
He hammers at Cochran. lets it go into the end zone, and it will be touched back, and it's going to be at the 20-yard line. Let's go down to Mike Conti. Mike?
Gordon, you're right. The rain has just about stopped. It is getting a little bit foggy, though. On the Neshaminy sideline, they have really experienced a variety of emotions here in the third quarter. They almost looked a little bit deflated when Breston came out. Maybe they thought they had knocked them out of the game. Now this Neshaminy sideline is fired up. It looks to me here at field level, Breston is not having any problem cutting on that ankle. That'll be something we'll keep an eye on here in the rest of the third quarter, guys.
9,677 the attendance for both sessions combined. Here's Dutrell, and he is dropped. Big tackle is made there, and the hit by Pat Carroll.
Neshaminy has jumped into their 53 defense. That's their run stopper.
Textbook tackle there by Carroll. Well, you got to wonder right now, does, you know, with Breston sitting for that 4-minute drive, has that ankle locked up and cooled off?
You know, Stevie Breston wears a T-shirt under his uniform, a Superman T-shirt. And when you're the Superman,
he is.
You're going to need kryptonite to stop you.
You can see him. He's got a little limp in his gait as he goes up under center. He's back to throw.
There he goes. He loves to do this.
He's just going to keep on going. Think about that with an ankle injury, and he just waffles out of bounds after a gain of 12. He is a special talent.
Coach Novak won't admit it, but when you ask him, Coach, do you just have him drop back the pass for the pure purpose of spreading the field to run? And I think the answer is yes, but Coach, of course, Coach won't say that, nor will Stevie.
Think about this. This is a young man down with an ankle injury, but he's got pretty good bounce, as we've been saying, in the second half.
Beauty of Steve Breston, too, is he does the job in the classroom, too. A 3.4 GPA. Hats off to a fine young man.
Dutrell got a bit of an opening, took a wallop, but gets good yardage, 5 or 6 yards.
Oh, if we're looking at the two best tailbacks, 1 and 1A in this state right now. These two guys are very, very good. Not only do they run well, but when they get to the tackler, they punish them.
Austin Jones with the initial hit, and Carroll also there on the tackle for Neshaminy.
They love to deliver a blow. Just lowered the shoulder and ran over a couple people.
14-7. Neshaminy, after a long drive, on the lead by a touchdown. Preston, I think, may have had a little exchange, but he is flagged now. Tries to cut back. He's got another first down all the way up to the 48-yard line. Gain of 12.
You know, we talk about his great ability to run the football, but there's always some good blocking going on there, too, to get him out there.
Well, it's always a team game. There's the fullback out in front. Actually, that was Dutrell making that block.
Boy, they sealed Jeff Donahue right out of that play.
Both fullback and tailback. 2 excellent blocks.
So Neshaminy coming off here with a little drive of their own. Preston busted play, and they gobbled him up right at midfield. He did get positive yardage. Right in that mud pile in there.
He's getting up slowly.
Pat Carroll is in there. Also for Neshaminy, and on the stack as well as Eric Peterson. And again, Mike Conti, as we go down to you, right there is where you started this thing today.
Yeah, and it's really a very muddy mess out there right now. Not very good footing, and it really is starting to look like Breston is favoring that ankle again, guys. Really starting to limp.
Tommy's going to cut it up, and he's got about 3 or 4 yards up to the Neshaminy 47-yard line as they go into Redskins territory.
So he comes right back and runs the football.
And you know, and he's not only slick, but he does run from power, doesn't he? He runs through arm tackles all the time.
When he goes left, he has to get that ball out in that left hand there, though.
Ryan Vandenbrand in on the stop for the Redskins that time on Breston as they look at 3rd and 5. This is a big call upcoming as we come to the end of the third quarter of play. Well, we have an exciting finale to this 2001 PNAA Championship weekend coming up. Neshaminy with a long drive in the third quarter and a subsequent 2-point conversion gets on the lead at 14-7. And Mike Conti, as we go back to you a little bit, you were talking about Steve Breston maybe beginning to favor that ankle. I mean, it's still raw and cold out there. it's, I think, locking up at times on him. He just doesn't have that kind of explosive burst that he had before the injury.
Well, while Woodland Hills was on the sideline in that gap where Neshaminy had the ball, some of the athletic trainers there on the Woodland Hills side were trying to massage that ankle, keep it warm. And you're right, when it gets cold out, that can lock up at times. Maybe that's what he's feeling right now. You have a big 3rd down and 5 coming up, but you're in that part of the field right now where the footing is bad between the hash marks. I would imagine Woodland Hills is going to try and get this out to the boundary where the footing is a little bit better. One thing to keep in mind as we go to the 4th quarter, Jen, a big break developing for both teams. The rain has just about stopped, and if you take a look at the flagpoles, the wind has died down considerably.
Well, these are best conditions we've seen all day, to be honest, even though it's wet. But as far as the stuff up in the air, we do have that kind of haze developing, but pretty decent conditions considering how it all began.
No question. You still have to run outside the hash mark, though.
Yeah, it's
you
still
look in the middle of that field, and it's still puddled up.
Richard Sheeler, the official, said, "You're in the soup tonight in the beginning of the game. You're still there," and we start the 4th quarter with 3rd and 5. Preston is back. They've got him. And down he goes all the way back at the 40-yard line.
Donahue.
Vandenbrand led the charge for Neshaminy.
That's one way to get him. Outnumber him 6-1. It's going to take 6 guys to get him.
It's Pat Carroll that got him.
Oh.
Jeff Donahue.
Donahue came in and helped out at the end.
I apologize to everyone. Reading these numbers in this haze and all the mud on the uniforms, it's not easy, and everybody in the truck is helping me as well, and it's appreciated. Here
Watch out for Ennis. He's got a wall.
If he can get to the outside, but Woodland Hills covers it pretty well, and he got whapped out of bounds at about the 41-yard line.
Great field position, for Neshaminy. This is, you know, we've got plenty of football left, but this would be one huge upset because Woodland Hills is so highly regarded, not only here in the state, but
look at that
nationally.
block. Did you see that? Great camera work from the end zone, and really all weekend long by production crew at WITF and also the gang here with the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Jamar, 89 yards, 3 receptions for 87. He's got 1 pass that he completed. I believe we had that for 41 yards to Ennis. That got that touchdown drive rolling in the middle part of the 3rd quarter. Brittingham, not that time. He got hit immediately.
Woodland Hills secondary starting to creep up. Got to watch those tight ends deep again.
Jason Whiter just plays within himself.
He's a winner.
He just takes his time, makes the plays that he can make, and he doesn't try to do anything more, and that's all you want out of your quarterback when you get a big-time tailback.
And if he makes a bad throw, it doesn't faze him. And Coach Schmidt has confidence in him and can right back. And
I was so impressed with his 2-point conversion throw to the tight end Mullen.
He's been making clutch plays all year.
Have you seen a team? I know you know about what you speak in District 1, but I mean, to come from behind in 7 different games against the quality of competition that they have played is really, it says a lot about this team.
Well, and it's serving them well. I don't think they're ever going to get rattled no matter what the situation.
Against Father Judge open the season, down 27-21, come back to win 28-27 in the final minute of the game. They got a forfeit win over Ben Salem, and they come back the next week against Penridge, down 15-0, rally to win that game 28-22.
And then one on the final play to beat Central Bucks East 15-14.
That was 2 weeks later.
So. And then last week rallied from a 12-0 halftime deficit to win the Eastern Final against Cumberland Valley 25-19. Whiter's got his man. That's the big fullback. And he's got positive yardage. Jay Collins all the way up to the 47-yard line, a gain of 6.
They're going to run that waggle pattern until it's stopped. Tight end dragging across the middle, fullback in the flat. That time he hit the fullback.
Ryan Mundy on the stop.
Again, the tight end was wide open.
Guys, through 3 quarters, these stats are all but even. 241 total yards for Woodland Hills, 267 for Neshaminy.
The biggie is in through the air.
Neshaminy with a $158 through the air. How about that? That's a surprise.
Ball at the 47 for Neshaminy, facing a key 3rd and 6. The Woodland Hills defense wanting to get a stop. Later into the air, looks, throws, pass, almost interception, caught by Donahue on a deflection. First down, Neshaminy to the 45. I thought that ball was picked off and going the other way.
Get these stats. This is a career game for Whiter. 10 of 11 for 174 yards.
10 of 11. I knew he was having a hot game, but 10 of 11.
And he's got a little luck there. He's got to have a little luck, right?
To win a championship, you do need a little luck.
Mark Yezevich had that ball in his hands and it went right through. Sometimes better to be lucky than good.
I know all about that.
Here it is in the mud. I mean, he threw this ball at a double cover. They had this well covered. They just had a fortunate bounce. Ball at the Woodland Hills 45. Brittingham gets the handoff. He's still chewing it up. And a muddy run to the 35. Close to another Neshaminy first down.
Coach Schmidt doing a great job of mixing it up. Puts Brittingham in the slot. Brings him back on a little inside wing counter.
Well, I am impressed with how he runs in the lanes. He really has some pop in traffic. Really does.
He has a great style. He has that body lean, that balance, and toughness.
Donahue, the fullback. Just some muscle beach for about 2 or 3.
Just want to get a first down there. Take your time.
Clock slowly becoming a factor, not just yet as they stop it with 8:59.
Offensive line for Neshaminy starting to take control here.
Well, here's the big question. It was about Stevie Breast and Woodland Hills. If they got behind by more than 1 score and they had to throw the ball, could they do it? Because they never had to. And the answer is, it's tough to do that when you don't and never had to do it. And Neshaminy has been playing these tough games all year. There was nothing for them to be in a tough game and keep their cool.
Brittingham, big hole, has 5. And about 8 yards to about the 25-yard line. Dropped by Mundy again. So Brittingham is really beginning to have some room to roam here.
That was an advantage for Neshaminy coming in, the balance.
Chad, Ryan,
Woodland Hills primarily a running team the entire season.
Ryan Mundy, only a junior, already had an offer from Michigan and Pitt.
Part of those great Western PA corners and safeties. 22 carries for 104 yards now for Brittingham. As we go underneath 8 minutes to go here in the football game. Brittingham again, jukes, got a first down to the Woodland Hills 22-yard line. Tackle is made for Woodland Hills. Lonnie Diorio. Look at that uniform. He's seen some duty today. Now, wasn't there serious talk last week that he might sit out the Eastern Final because they were worried about his knee that much?
They were just trying to get another angle for another story. That's all that was. This kid wants to play.
Play action right now. Waiter running, throws it, and he's got Donahue as an eligible receiver, fortunately, because there are 3 Woodland Hills players around. So he avoids the grounding call.
Oh, wow.
Initially, he had a couple people open.
Here comes the rain
There's
again.
that same pattern.
Oh, gosh. Lordy B.
What are you reacting to over here?
Oh, jeez. Well, we're going to get good play by the quarterback if he doesn't get a flag on that.
Well, Donahue is in the area. Close enough.
215 area code.
He was nearby. There's Brittingham, and they said, we know what's coming, and he takes a loss back to the 24. You got to give the surge of the Woodland Hills defense credit there. They crawled all over him. Yezevich in on the stop for Woodland Hills with help from his friends. So 3rd and 13 for Neshaminy. They are 4 for 8 on 3rd down in this game. The tight end Mullen has had a big game. He's got 2 catches, well 3. He's also got the 2-point conversion. So 3 receptions in this game. He might be got to look for here on 3rd and 13. Blitz is coming. They throw that throwback screen again. They got it set up well with Brittingham. He's got a first down to the 11, and the ball is out.
No,
and it's not going to be a first down.
Oh, I thought he should have cut out outside.
Ball goes back to the 14, so they'll go on 4th down. But he had the first down if he took the football with him. Let's see it again. Go ahead, guys. Coach?
Excellent play fake. Brittingham set up like he was going to block. But I don't care what he does. You got to put a spy on that man anywhere he goes.
The ball goes back to the 14-yard line. 4th and 4. They're going to try a long field goal, we think. Kevin Kelly is in, the freshman. This is about a 32-yard attempt. Snap is down. The kick is no good. He pushed it wide right. Woodland Hills dodged a bullet there. Let's go down to Mike Conte. Mike?
Well, there was some discussion on the Neshaminy sideline. What would they do there on 4th down and 3? Of course, they thought at first that they had the first down. The footing not very good there. Although that's a makeable field goal, there's always a little bit of hesitation. Now, as far as Woodland Hills goes, Breston on the sideline. Again, work on that ankle, trying to keep it warm. Also, he's trying to keep his hands warm. He's wearing gloves. But as Woodland Hills breaks the huddle, I'm not sure Breston's in.
No, he's not.
They brought Tony Carr in to play quarterback. There's a flag down as Dutrell streaks to the 29-yard line.
He's coming back. Illegal motion.
Jay Whiter, 11 of 12, 181.
That is quite a night.
Motion, 5 yards, 5 yards. Motion, White, first down.
Once again, that Neshaminy defense could be the story of the game.
So 14-7 right now. And Woodland Hills needs a drive, and they're depending on backup senior quarterback Tony Carr. In for injured Steve Breston right now. Carr for his pass of the day. Fires it up, and it's intercepted. Neshaminy with another turnover. Justin Edwards has got it. Stepping in front of Dion Day.
Actually, if he throws it far enough, it's a touchdown. He's behind the defender. You got to just lay it out there. Well, that's tough to ask a kid to come off the bench and make a perfect throw.
Well, they've had 7 fumbled exchanges, but they didn't lose any, and that's their first turnover of the day on the interception. So Neshaminy back on offense. Here comes Jamar Brittingham into the clear. It's a foot race. Bringing it 20. Home 10, 5, touchdown. Brittingham from 45 yards. And that may have been a fatal blow to Woodland Hills.
He's a big-time back. He made the big runs all the way through the season. And he's come up big again here in the 4th quarter. But really, it's an entire effort by Neshaminy. Everybody makes a play on this team.
You know, someone said Neshaminy was a team of destiny, and it's looking that way tonight.
Got a huge break with Steve Breston not being 100%. That's just heartbreaking because he's such an electrifying performer, and he's a guy we've really been looking forward to seeing at 100% all weekend long, and just didn't happen. Kelly's extra point is right down the boulevard. With 5:54 remaining, Neshaminy now takes a commanding 21-7 lead. And before we go to Mike Conte, let's talk Jamar Brittingham, the All-State running back.
Straight ahead, power running.
He reminds me of William Green, who's at Boston College. Green's a little faster than Brittingham, but a guy that can do the inside-outside type of game
Here's
at
the
the
extra
running back
point
position.
try.
That's right
down
there.
the middle.
Let's go to Mike Conti now, and more of a fog, and the rain I see is picked back up again. How you doing, Mike?
A little waterlogged, Jed. Let's keep something in mind about Neshaminy. Something we mentioned at the top of the show. This Neshaminy team 14-0, but this is only their second all-time state playoff appearance since the playoffs began in 1988. Coach Penton mentioned the success Neshaminy had earlier in the 60s and the 70s. They've been down for most of the 90s, struggling against teams like CB West. Now Neshaminy, 5 minutes and 54 seconds away from getting a state championship and only their second state playoff appearance, Jed.
We mentioned they made it to the Eastern Final in the inaugural PIAA playoffs in 1988, losing to Cedar Cliff 24-0. You've got some numbers. Brittingham, 245 total yards now. Short kickoff. And that's Nesby, and he's hit at the 31-yard line. There is just nowhere to go. They are really flying now, beginning to smell it.
Let's see who comes out as quarterback for Woodland Hills. And they're going to, if they can't get, they're not going to have Brett. Looks like Preston is done for the night.
Out.
Go back to Mike Conti. Mike, what do you have?
The indication I'm getting from the Woodland Hills sideline is that Preston could be done for the night, guys. Don't even see him with his jersey on right now. He has an overcoat on, trying to stay warm, but it looks like Preston may not be available to return.
Hand off to Trell. And again, this is, if you could put a worst-case scenario in front of Woodland Hills, we're seeing it play out here in this fourth quarter. Unfortunately for George Novak, one, his top player's unavailable, and he really doesn't have a comeback offense to go to here, down 14 late.
Well, it's never been tested, unfortunately. You know, I thought the field would not be a problem for Preston. It wasn't. It was the cold and him handling the football. He never got comfortable with the snaps, 7, 8 bobbles, and then the ankle injury.
This car has pretty good time. Rolling, good coverage downfield, throws, intercepted again. Off the deflection, Eric Peterson has got it for the Redskins, and he's finally tracked down at the 38-yard line. And with 4:58 remaining, Woodland Hills is slowly running out of sand in the glass.
At this point, I think we have to give a lot of credit to John Chop, the defensive coordinator. And his former head coach. Got this defense ready. There's the pass, deflection, tip drill.
But this really comes down, Coach, to Jason Whiter. He has made all the plays for them on offense.
After this, we have got something interesting that Mark Schmidt has talked about concerning the turnaround of this program. Hand off to Brittingham, and he powers forward for about 7 yards. Let's go in any order you want. We can do the replay, and then we can hear from Coach Schmidt.
Well, after last year's football team, I knew we had a better team than our record, and we got hit by the injury bug early. Gave us a lot of young guys an opportunity to play, and a lot of the guys who got hurt last year were young. And we made a big commitment this year to really physically get ourselves ready to go for this season and turn up the volume, so to speak. And our guys answered the challenge. And since January, we've been working awful hard in the weight room and conditioning and our workouts and that kind of stuff to prepare for this, and it's been a fun year.
There's Jamar Brittingham for the first down to the 49-yard line. Well, when you got a guy like this, you can turn around things fairly quick.
Well, you got to give a lot of credit to Mark Schmidt. Now, he's been working at this for quite a few years. He's been competitive just about every year, and this is a character team, a lot of seniors. They paid their dues. You got a superstar in Jamar. However, it's a team game, and everybody in that club made a contribution tonight.
Land some keep away. Go ahead, Gordon.
Woodland Hills is going to go home with a lot of what-ifs. What if Preston stays healthy? What if the field was a little better?
Well, both teams, remember, had to play under the same conditions.
Brittingham to the 49. Boy, look at those guys. They are set.
He's tough. What can you say?
Let me get a perspective from Mike Conte. I mean, what we're watching on TV, these like wet, muddy uniforms. I mean, Mike, can you put that into perspective for us as we watch this play somewhat? Just how really caked out these guys are.
It's unbelievable. I mean, whoever has to do the dry cleaning on these jerseys is going to have a very long night as we take a look at this play, Jed.
And right up the gut, huge gain for Neshaminy's Jake Collins all the way down to the 20. Well, they're debating whether or not that's a fumble at the end of that, whether or not the ground had caused it. The officials are having a conference. Woodland Hills feels it's like their football here. With 2:57, they say the ground caused it. Neshaminy will keep it. 22-yard line and about a 26-yard gain.
Oh, it came out.
You know, we're not talking about a fluke here. This is a pretty convincing win.
Yeah, they have really grabbed this game by that big stop defensively, and then the subsequent touchdown drive really turned this baby around for Neshaminy.
And the offensive balance, the mix of the run and the passing game. It turned out Woodland Hills too one-dimensional.
There's Brittingham flying into another mud pile in there, the middle of that field. This field can take a lot of punishment, but 4 games in 2 days and this kind of weather, tough on any pitch.
Look at this steam coming off the players.
Yeah, it's something.
I believe Neshaminy has to go up in those national rankings, right?
I think they've obviously proven they're the state champions in Pennsylvania.
Well, if you beat number 7 in the country, then you must be at least number 7.
I don't know if they see it that way, though.
I'm not sure I'm buying that.
Here comes Brittingham inside the 20 to about the 18-yard line. But what a year in the WPIAL. They won 3 games here today, this weekend.
They still have a lot to brag about and talk about, and they will do that. But this really takes the edge off of it because, let's face it, this is the Glamour division, and this was the Glamour team. And Neshaminy just grabbed this thing by the throat in the second half, as they have all year. That's not the surprise. It looks like they're going to take home a championship, the Langhorne.
Just keep it on the ground here. And Neshaminy, their fans are beginning to feel it. With 1:07 left, up by 14. What about Woodland Hills from here? They've got a lot of great talent coming back. You've talked about Monday getting an offer from Michigan, a junior.
Yeah, let's look at it. Burgoyne, he's going to go to Michigan State tomorrow for his official visit. He leaves tomorrow. Virginia, Northwestern, Penn State appear to be his top 3, but that changes a lot. Reston, of course. Smiley, Novak, Dutrell, Mundy, even Selman, all potential Division I recruits. So that really does put a real polish on this win for Neshaminy to beat the team that talent-laden.
Brittingham.
And of course they have their Division I recruit in Jamar Brittingham. He's pretty much an ACC Big East recruit right now, but I would think that might move up the ladder a little bit.
We'll show you where Woodland Hills is, out in Allegheny County.
East Hills of Pittsburgh.
I think this also makes a statement for the caliber of competition that Neshaminy's had to play throughout their schedule.
Let's talk about that, though, Coach. That league, in essence, is in partially being broken up as to the way it's been over the years. Of course, your teams come out of that league, come here and win a bunch of state championships. This team is another team from that league. We talk a little bit about the single-A Big 7 in Beaver County with Rochester, but in Quad A, your league has to be the dominant league year in and year out, and they've done some tinkering with it that I think is probably not sitting very, very good with some people.
Well, they're still debating the rescheduling, but some of the smaller 4A schools don't want to play the Neshaminys and Pennsbury's and East-West.
Langhorne, Pennsylvania. Well, the horns are honking in Langhorne right now.
Yeah.
Everybody watching us here
just
on
up the street from the Neshaminy Mall.
So they'll just take a knee here with less than 30 seconds to go. And that should do it. It's all over. Mark Schmidt and Neshaminy have reached the summit, have won a state championship in Quad A, knocking off the #1 team all year long in Pennsylvania, the #17 nationally in USA Today, as they count it out. A convincing win, as you said, 21-7.
I think the parades have started in Langhorne.
Pretty amazing. Cinderella this afternoon didn't quite get it done. If there was another Cinderella, it was this team right here. Played like a monster. They are state champions.
The Woodland Hills.
So we have to give a lot of credit to Woodland Hills for a great season. You know, it's always a fear as a coach. And, you know, the game to me is just about everything. You'll have an off night.
Jamar Brittingham, 292 total yards in this football game. And now let's get out to Mike Conti, who's weathered all of the elements and has just done a fabulous job all weekend. Mike, I congratulate you. It was a sheer pleasure working with you all weekend long.
Oh, likewise, Jed, and also to Coach Benton and Gordon Blaine and Gary Sutton. Jake Collins collapsed to his knees here on the Neshaminy sideline when the clock hit 0. He said, thank God. And really, this is something else. The way that Neshaminy has been counted out all year, going into the East Final, no one thought they could take down Cumberland Valley, and they did. No one gave them a shot here tonight against Woodland Hills. Obviously, the Preston injury a major factor, but they win tonight. They go 15-0. Jed, that is the best record in the Neshaminy school history, including all those great teams of the late 60s.
Well, they were impressive.
Again, the Neshaminy staff, great job of bringing this club along. I guess all the sleepless nights Mark Schmidt had, I think he said in the Inquirer, there was an article, he had an hour and a half sleep. That's what he averaged.
This is what I like.
Now that the Neshaminy Booster Club maybe ought to send him on a little golf vacation.
Coach, you know Mark well. How far out did he dream of how far his team could really go this year? Did he see
he
their
just
team?
believed in these kids, a special group of kids. As I say, tough kids, a lot of character. They had all these close games. They had the will to win. And they just believed, hey, anything is possible.
And again, just a marvelous moment. And the hard work, and they're sliding in the mud right now. Neshaminy have 415 yards of total offense. But the sportsmanship that has been displayed all weekend long, both teams shaking hands. And the WPIL, a phenomenal year. Rochester won in single A over Southern Columbia 16-0. West Allegheny extracted revenge from Strathaven, winning the 3rd time around. Washington, a come-from-behind win against Penn Argyll earlier today, 19-12. And Woodland Hills, Steve Preston, we'll see him at the next level. He's a dynamic performer. It's just unfortunate that he got injured in that second quarter and really changed things around for Woodland Hills.
And the huge statewide audience could have seen just how special a player he is. They didn't get to see that except for that one run. You would have seen 3 or 4 of those today. Still, who knows if the outcome would have been any different. But, boy, Neshaminy came out of nowhere, really, although they knew better. I think the people down in Bucks County knew better. And all of a sudden they emerged, and the people in the national rankings said, oh, we got to move them up in the rankings. And here they go. They get the last laugh. They're state champions.
Coming up next here on Pennsylvania's Championship Network is last night's AAA game with West Allegheny and Strathaven. It was a delight working with you, Mike Penn Sr. We've admired you for years from afar, from up here, and I'll tell you,
working with you, and
it's so much for us this weekend.
Thanks for taking care of a rookie. You're certainly a pro. Appreciate it working with you, and Gordon especially also.
And Gordon Blaine and the resources of Sports Fever certainly appreciated to our effort all weekend long, and delighted as always, my friend. Great football.
Jed, as always, we've done a lot of games together, and many more in the future to go.
And Jed, you made a point I'd like to echo. The sportsmanship over the last couple of days.
The sportsmanship issue, and welcome everybody upstairs where we are. It's one of those cold days we're having here.
Wow, tough. Who's running the truck down there?
I'll tell you.
It's time for the hot chocolate.
They must have been out a Christmas video or something for something. But anyway, delightful working with you, and we really appreciate it. And there's Neshaminy, just an experience you can never forget. You've been on both sides of this. It can be bitter and it can taste so sweet at the same time.
Yeah, I'm happy for Neshaminy, but certainly feel for Woodland Hills, but it's a credit and tribute to both teams just to get here.
So, and also thanks to all of the folks at the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Corey Clark has been in my ear all weekend long, and everybody at PCN and the WITF crew, the crew working in these elements, and Mike Conti working with us throughout the week on the pregame and all the sidelines. And everybody with the PIAA, Mr. Brad Cashman, Dr. Bob Lombardi, Melissa Mertz, Mark Byer, and everybody. So congratulations on another job well done, gang. Great year for football in Pennsylvania. Comes to a conclusion. From Hershey, Neshaminy has won quad 21-7. I'm Jed Donahue. Good night, everybody.
And please step forward. And just this second, official representative, Dwayne Morgan, the starting lead on the Woodland Hills Wolverines in 2001 PIAA Quad Area Trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, the Wolverines of Woodland Hills.
You've been watching PCN's exclusive coverage of PIAA Championship football on PCN, Pennsylvania's championship network. PCN's presentation of regular season high school sports contests is underwritten by Pennsylvania Cable Television Companies, delivering local, state, and national sports programming. And by Homework Help on PCN, televised homework assistance for primary and secondary school students. You're watching PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network, a public service of Pennsylvania Cable Television Companies. PCN is supported in part by Comcast Cable, serving cable subscribers in Bensalem and Delaware County. PIAA championships throughout the year exclusively on PCN. In February, team wrestling. In March, diving, swimming, wrestling, and boys and girls basketball. In May, track and field. In June, boys volleyball, girls spring soccer, baseball, and softball. In November, girls volleyball, field hockey, boys and girls soccer, and cross country. And rounding out the year in December, championship football. For additional high school sporting events, check our website at pcntv.com. Watch regular season high school basketball matchups live on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Friday nights at 7:30, it's regional hoops action on PCN's Game of the Week. PCN Game of the Week leads up to exclusive basketball championship coverage in March. The State Farm Show live on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Watch the championship rodeo, folk dance contest, livestock judging, horse and pony pulling competitions, cooking and wildlife demonstrations, the Sheep to Shaw event, and more as PCN presents sights and sounds of Pennsylvania's premier agricultural showcase. Around-the-clock coverage of the State Farm Show airs in January exclusively on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. High school wrestlers grapple all winter long on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Saturday nights at 9, PCN's Match of the Week features some of the best wrestling matchups from around the state. Catch the excitement of primetime high school wrestling Saturday nights, exclusively on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. College students majoring in communications or political science, the Pennsylvania Cable Network is now accepting internship applications for all semester. Interns gain valuable hands-on experience and network with industry professionals. For more information about PCN and internship opportunities, visit our website at pcntv.com. To apply, email your resume or send it to Pennsylvania Cable Network, 401 Fallowfield Road, Camp Hill, PA 17011. The Pennsylvania Cable Network, your exclusive home for PIAA State Championship sports. Throughout the scholastic season, the best high school teams and athletes compete for state gold on PCN. For a complete listing of championship dates and times, visit our website at pcntv.com. PCN, Pennsylvania's Championship Network.